there's a lot of y'all. I gotta stand out. I'm not doing this shit for 3 years and nobody knows who I am, right? So I would still, and I'm not, let's be clear, I'm not infamous for not paying artists or not fulfilling books or being bad to collaborate with. I just kind of a dick. You know, this is a weird world. But like, bro, just be honest, you quit things. It's all good. Like, most people quit.
You can't even talk about it because you're out there committing crimes?
No, I'm not literally.
You just know the people that are committing the crime.
I'm not literally killing the ops, but I'm metaphorically killing the ops. And there are so many ops. There are so many ops that have like emerged out of the woodwork.
Why are they emerging out of the woodwork?
You know, I have my persona.
You create hate spaces.
I don't do hate. Nah, hate spaces are very specific.
Wait, did you stop doing those?
Hate spaces? Was that a thing? Yeah, no, that was a thing. That was a thing for a little bit.
Yeah, like those little fucking Twitter spaces where you go on there specifically to disgrace someone else's name.
I don't remember that being a thing.
Oh, okay.
That sounds aggressive.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, then that means that you've matured quite a bit.
I don't know.
I'm glad you got out of that business.
Essentially, you're a new person coming into a creative field. And, you're boisterous and you're loud and people have a real problem with that. People really get upset by that for whatever. I think it's insecurities, to be honest. But
ultimately, yeah, because what does it matter? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm certain. Do you think that comic book creating is a meritocracy? Do you think that, like, you could just be based off of, well, this is my work. I'm going to let my work speak for itself. And because if you do feel that way, if you do feel like that's how it goes, like the cream ultimately does rise to the top, then what the fuck does it matter what anyone else is doing? Because if your cream is not rising to the top, right, then that means that you just still have work that you need to do. It still needs to be work that needs to be put in. There still needs to be time spent, honed on the craft.
Use was it a 7-syllable word? Meritocracy?
Meritocracy. Yeah,
What's that mean?
Just based on the merit of your work. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There would be no reason as to why I could find myself upset with someone else because it doesn't have anything to do with the fuck I'm doing. Like, it has nothing to do with it. I'm my only competition is what I'm saying. I
don't believe that to be the case. I'm a very big, I'm very big on competition, and I think there's two ways to look at competition as in being toxic. Like, I guess you could look at it in simple terms. Like the bad kind is like, I'm gonna knock other people down. And then the good kind is like, I'm gonna build everybody up and we can just see who's the best.
Okay.
Which is like part of a sports team.
Okay.
Like a football team, they're competing, but they're under like a goal, like a larger goal. That's how I see it personally.
No, I get it.
There's only so many jobs. There's only so much money to be made in the industry. So I do think it's competition. I truly just think that people are insecure.
All right. So who's coming out? All right. I need to hear about these people. I need to hear about you don't have to put anyone's name out there, but but we can at least talk about like the instances. Like, what are you being presented with? I feel like this may have been the last way our last one started.
Yeah, they're just always coming through. So
I worry about your mental health in that aspect. Like, I don't know what it would do to someone to just have these constant battles. I can't imagine that it's great though.
You know what's funny is I don't even get into. It's like Twitter's algorithm. Like Elon came in and fucked up the algorithm. He just fucked things up. So I don't even get the traction I used to get. And wow. I don't really. I try to avoid things now. I'm kind of like I just be chilling nowadays because it did. There was an incident. I'm trying to figure out where to start, bro. Because long story short, I had a disagreement. The disagreement turns into somebody making a YouTube video and maybe seeing their perspective, but factually untrue stuff about me Like,
oh wow. Someone made a YouTube video in response to you?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Several. There's a couple of those.
Oh my.
So the dude was complaining like he was complaining like how creators don't do this for them. Like creators they don't have me on their show. They don't back my campaigns. Like this guy Stokes. And I backed his campaign and I had him on my Twitter spaces several times. So he's just lying. Like it's almost like the name Stokes in any comment Twitter was a lightning bolt for discourse, essentially. So somebody gets into it on his behalf. So we go back and forth. I go on his show, and I debate four of his. I think it's a old versus new thing in the sense that there, you know, when you're trying to buck the system don't want to be bucked. I would call somebody who's fighting on behalf of a system a cuckold. Like I think that's it's giving I watch strangers fuck my wife energy, in my opinion.
Okay.
But that's what they want to do. That's fine. If that's what you're into.
I watch strangers fuck my wife.
Not me, personally.
Kind of energy. That's a very particular energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a particular action. It's weird for somebody to be like, I'm going to start a new trend or I'm going to try to innovate. And you're like, no. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy take. This one is going to help me articulate because there's a lot, bro. There's so much. So I get to an argument, and these are the clip notes. I get to arguing with that person. And then there's a third person that gets involved and starts arguing and like subtweeting. So now we're subtweeting. And then what was happening so much was like, look at Stokes subtweeting people. But I'm like, yo, y'all started this. And I'm trying to breeze through because none of this, I'm trying to find the important, like the interesting stuff. But essentially, this dude starts, he's like crazy manipulative. Like he wouldn't say, hey, you shouldn't do that. He would tweet, I think creators shouldn't do the thing I don't think they should do. They should do the thing I think they should do. But he wouldn't aggress it to you. So I'm like, yo, like, what's good? Oh, no, like, I'm not talking about you specifically. It's just real manipulative bullshit. And we start going back and forth. It's just not, we end up blocking each other. I was talking to him in a Twitter space and I hate passive aggressiveness. I think it's the ugliest thing you can be.
Oh, so you guys actually used your voices to speak. It wasn't just typing and tweeting back and forth.
Here's what happened. This dude had a live stream with all of my creator friends from Twitter Spaces, but didn't have me, which I thought was weird. But I'm like, fine. He talks shit to me, to my co-host on my YouTube channel. And I'm like, yo, like I came up all these times. You could have showed love and been like, oh yeah, but here's his, et cetera, et cetera. And he was like, wow, you're making everything about you, huh? But I'm like, why am I even coming up? Why is my co-host having to defend me? We go back and forth. He's like, so we talk on the phone. And bro, there's like 4 or 5 times where I've like lost my mind. I'm yelling at I'm doing 100. I'm because I got to get off of work, get home. I'm gunning it. And I'm yelling at this motherfucker like, you did this. You got it. You fucking going back and forth. And he's like, whoa. I was like, there's no fucking whoa. You sitting out here being manipulative. You sitting out here making fucking narratives about me. And I was like, I'm doing XYZ. I'm doing things you don't like, but I'm doing XYZ. You're not acknowledging it. Like, I know I'm not doing everything right, but he's like, I just don't hear you taking any accountability. And I was like, I was like, bro, you just heard me say I'm not doing everything right? Do you see where there's a bias? He was like, yeah, I see where there's a bias. So I was like, all right, cool. So we kind of came to an agreement. We get in a Twitter space. He's being passive aggressive. I was like, let's do this. I don't like you. I never want to talk to you again. And your comics are not worth this bullshit. And I kicked him out the space. And it's been a cold war back and forth for months. And
this is mostly like a plight or a grief that he has about your comic book styles, like stylistically, or it's just about.
It's like how I behave. Like he believes that he believes that he's about the community, which is cool, but the way he does it is he wants to be kind of like, he wants to control everybody. He's almost like a hall monitor, essentially. I don't care. I don't want to fit in. I didn't make comics to fit in, basically. So I think that's where the core thing is, like, oh, you're too boisterous, or you might alienate people, or what have you. So that's the core. This really started because remember the page turn conversation?
Oh, yeah. So he thinks that you're like a divisive force in the nature, like he thinks that, because I'm trying to figure out, like, he's the hero in his story,
Yeah.
right. So I'm trying to figure out like what his endeavor is, like what's the hero's journey for him. Like, is he trying to take down Thanos? Like, does he feel like you have come to kind of, you know, like on your way? Like, does he feel like your pathway is kind of destructive?
You can see it like that. Like he thinks that
you're the villain.
He thinks I'm a villain. And to be fair, I've kind of painted myself. That's kind of been sort of the persona a little bit.
We've heard you.
Yeah, y'all know. Y'all can fucking. but it's. I was just trying to, like, y'all have the cuckold energy, right? Where you're like, hey, let's just do our best and hold hands and all be friends. And I'm like, it's a competitive area. We're not all going to get along. And there's a lot of people I get along with. I don't get along with, and we just go our own separate ways. Why? It's like this person was coming around to, like, it almost felt like he was like a police officer, like just to watch, just to like, hey, what y'all doing over there?
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, I think so. But it's like we gotta coexist, and there's no one right way to do things. And I kind of circle back to what if you're not corralled by cuckold energy? What if you want somebody that's arrogant? What if you want somebody that's arrogant? What if that's somebody that's what you need, and I'm providing that for people, you know? And that's it. I think things have calmed down, but I mean, that's more or less where I've been at. And then it, like, as far as the mental health goes, so that guy that made a lie about me, I was saying that, like, yeah, I think that there's some, I don't know about, he said a bias. I'm like, it might be a racial bias, to be honest. And I said that in the Twitter space, and then dude tweets like, oh, he claimed that we're racist, blah, blah, blah. And that's the most, because I couldn't respond. That's like the worst I felt. Like, that felt like I felt cornered. And I basically felt like they backed me to a corner. Like, I couldn't really respond because whatever I would respond, you'd be like, oh, he's the bad guy, he's this or that. So I'm like, I'm just going to start making comic books and shit on y'all for real.
Yeah, I think that's probably a much better.
So I've calmed down
to focus on.
I'm like, I don't have the. I remember, and I like doing this pod specifically because it's like a time capsule of how I feel at that time.
Yeah.
And like now, I'm fucking tired. I'm really fucking tired, bro. Like, I'm still not sleeping great, bro. I got a sleep apnea machine, and my sleep got worse.
What?
How
does that work?
I don't fucking know. Like, I was waking up at 6 a.m. every morning. Like, I went to bed earlier to get more sleep. I started waking up an hour earlier.
Well, what does the apnea machine do exactly?
I thought you know that. So it creates a suction, and then it like pushes in air,
right,
and then stops pushing in air when you exhale.
Understood.
So I think you stops breathing in your sleep, and that's what like the snoring is. So it helps. But like, I'm not sleeping well. Like, essentially, so much. I gotta give a lot of people credit. I remember we talked. I hate to admit I'm wrong. I remember you were talking about, like, it was the first episode. You were like, this will become crap one day, like whatever it is, about like whatever, like your first thing. And I'm like, Earl was spitting. I think about that every day. And of course, my dumb ass on the podcast was like, oh, I would never say. The writing was still good. Let's be clear, but the writing was hitting. But like the overall package, right? So now that I've done 4 new series. You know, I mean, I've released 4 new series, but like I'm just getting better. So it's like there's like a curve essentially, like where you're like, you're at the top of the world and you learn how hard it is, and you get, and then you get better. Like, essentially, the better you get, the more you realize how far you are, and then you feel worse about it.
Yeah, for sure. What the fuck is that? It's like a Dunning-Kruger. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect, I believe.
That sounds some German.
Is what it's called. Yes, that curve. It's like when a human being comes across an idea or an aspect of life, a thing, right? They feel like they usually know much more about that thing than they actually do. Then they start taking classes or learning about it. Then they very quickly start realizing how much they don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or no. Once you start learning, then you're thinking like, oh, wow, I know a lot about this. That takes a little while. Then once you learn quite a bit, then you're like, oh, wait, I don't know shit about this. There's so much to learn, and you humble yourself. Yeah, that's a good way.
I missed that step, but I'm still not humble, bro. Like,
you just never hit that humble step?
Never, bro. Because like, humble to me we talked about the word humble. Yeah. It just feels like a checklist. And I don't know, like, I think overall I'm a pretty nice guy. Like I think I treat people pretty well. So if that's the case, like
it's the Twitter, man. It's that space. Like you're any of these people that think you're divisive or think that you're running around like Thanos trying to wipe the earth clean. They probably just haven't had a conversation with you in real life.
No, I mean, yeah, some of them. I'm. You know what it is though, bro, for real, and the way I see it is like people have not liked me my entire life.
Right.
You know, and I think this goes. This is true for everybody, but and I don't have complete total recollection of every moment of my life, but it did seem like I don't know, just being fat, just being like, just acting a certain way, maybe having a demeanor that isn't expected for little black boys. People always didn't like me.
Oh, okay, so you feel this has just pretty much just been a sweeping feeling or flavoring on your life pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, if people are not going to like me before they even met me, like let's give them a reason not to like me. Like that's how I see it.
That's what you took I think I used to do something like that.
Yeah,
I think that was like the Playboy era. It was just like, oh, you know, they don't think that you a Playboy, so you might as well just go ahead and fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Nah, so that's
you don't got to play into that role though.
I mean, I have zero regrets. Do I feel 100% great about everything? No. But like ultimately I have made great. I've stood out here. Let's start from the beginning. Like my thing was, I look at the indie comics in 2021, like just outside the pandemic, maybe even a little bit before that. I'm like, there's a lot of motherfuckers. There's a lot of y'all. I gotta stand out. I'm not doing this shit for 3 years and nobody knows who I am, right? So I would still, I'm not, let's be clear, I'm not infamous for not paying artists or not fulfilling books or being bad to collaborate with. I just kind of a dick. I'll take
that other thing, like that X Factor.
But I've gotten jobs. Like my boy Pat, who's my dog, he's like this dude is I think he's circling or he's about to approach $1 million on Kickstarter through 20 projects or whatever. He met me and we became cool because of Twitter Spaces and being a magnetic person. And I got a job off of that. Like there are people that are hiring me because it's being divisive. I guess I'm just saying it works both ways. But I feel like even with all the bullshit I've dealt with, I have like 2024 is going to be incredible. I have at least 6 of my own books releasing. Okay. 2024. I have like a bunch. I have a book I'm doing with somebody else that's coming out. Somebody paid me a reasonable amount of money to make a comic book that's coming out with my boy Chris. I work for hire jobs are coming. It's like all this stuff is coming. It's kind of pouring in to where like earlier this year I feel like, man, I ain't doing shit. And then now I'm like, damn, I have a lot of writing to do.
How many? I mean, maybe you don't know the answer to this yet, or maybe you do. How many volumes is Trap or Die?
Tap or Die.
Tap or Die. Trap or Die. Where did I get that from? Is that like a Young Jeezy?
It's a Young Jeezy album.
Okay, yes, okay.
It's a good one. I actually sold out of that. I sold 100 copies of that shit within like a month. Crazy.
Awesome fucking graphics on there. Again, I mean, you've been working with the same guy. Mark?
Guy.
That was not Mark.
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Marcelo, no.
Oh, who is that?
It's a guy, Emilio.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much every new series I start with a new artist.
Oh, okay.
You know, different people have different tastes.
I understand.
But that might be awesome. 5 volumes. So I'm gonna do at least 3 releases for that. Intrusive Thoughts, I got 3 releases. I got like a Decay book coming out. I got a collaboration that's coming out with my boy, at least 2 of those.
I really did like the feel of Intrusive Thoughts. I like the sort of like noir, I guess is a good way of putting it. Maybe like if it wasn't film style, you would think of it very dark and gloomy, sort of, or at least that's the way I saw it.
Atmospheric, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
that's a
okay.
That's a 5
you got
syllable
it.
word.
You got it.
But no. So I just have and then I have a book that I'm doing that I'm hoping to get published. There's just a million different opportunities opening up for 2024.
Nice.
So I'm not
congratulations, man. That's fucking awesome, dude. I love to hear that.
I've been working, bro. I mean, you see it. Like,
I love to hear that, man. There's nothing more I love than like to I just wish everyone had it. I wish everyone had like something that really made them happy, that they just love doing that shit day in and day out.
I thought about this because I would find myself in arguments with, I mean, you know, like my friends are dickheads, I'm a dickhead. And we would always argue. This might be the douchiest thing, but we would talk shit like, oh, no hoes. I'm like, oh, you don't got no money.
You don't got no hoes, though.
My boy, like, I got more money, but like, I got a house. I was like, but you pay rent. Like,
yo, y'all are crazy. Yo.
And I would bring that up. I was like, y'all pay rent. Like, somebody gets to tell you if you can live there or not. I can't relate. And I say that to say
y'all are crazy.
Yeah. And I'm like, look, if we and people get offended, like, oh man, you always talking about that. But I'm like, y'all are mad because I got the Trump card.
This shouldn't even be like, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not. So let me be clear. I'm building to something, but like, I don't think I'm better because you talked about having dreams. Like, I don't think I'm better because I have XYZ, right? Material things. I'm not better than anybody because of XYZ. But if you have fucking money problems, do not talk shit to me. Like, do not talk no shit to me, Brody. You getting cooked. I am not gonna lie to you, bro.
You don't like the money talk. You don't. If
we're talking, if we're joking around, that's fine. Like, that's what I'm saying. But like I always say, I mean, there's a line. I was talking to my boy. I was like, bro, we can joke around, we can talk shit, but there's a line in this sand. You cross this motherfucking line, I'm gonna hurt your feelings, bro.
I don't know if anyone's ever. No, I'm certain of it. I don't know if I can remember the last time someone tried to flex on me.
You're not you just don't. It's this. You sitting on a yoga ball or some shit. You can't flex on a motherfucker that's burning incense, right? Like you don't care about material. You don't care about material things.
That's what, you know what's interesting? Like,
yeah.
This just zaps me into, I think this was a year ago or so, when fucking DJ Khaled had released one of his last albums and Tyler the Creator had released his album like the same year.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled was putting out videos kind of talking shit about how the fuck did this win these awards album. And this weird album and all that. And I think everyone with a good head on their shoulders looked at that and was like, bro, this guy skateboards and makes all sorts of music and doesn't bother anyone anymore. Like, you look crazy as an adult going after
a hater.
You look like a super duper hater, right? And so that's kind of what that makes me think of. Like, yeah, you're right. What's the point of trying to dunk on someone that's just like doing a yoga stretch?
You know what's so funny is that
I don't bring the flex out of people.
Exactly. And the thing is, bro, I think what's also real quick, the very next album Tyler does is an entire flex. Call Me If You Get Lost is literally just flexing. Like, it's a success tour off of Igor, which is crazy. Like, and it's a great album. You should listen to it. It's a great album.
I don't know if I've heard of that. A success tour off of Igor.
Because he's just on the top of the world. He just won a Grammy. Like, and then so it's like Igor is about a breakup, and then Call Me If You Get Lost is like a braggart. It's like a Gangsta Grillz album. But I mean, like, I don't value materialistic. This is gonna sound so fucking okay. I'm supposed to come up to do a podcast with you. The company mechanic shop. I get an oil change thing. I'm gonna be responsible with. The fucking oil cap slips off while I'm driving. The engine locks up. The engine is done. They basically they gave me a check or whatever for the. And I have a new car, but I wanted my old car because I didn't have a car note. Like, I just don't, I truthfully don't, I don't care about materialistic things in the content. I mean, it's nice having a ride in the car that has like the little TV in the mid console so you can like navigate and stuff. It's nice.
That is nice.
But I like enjoying stuff, but I don't really care about, I get materialistic things so I can make comics. Whatever money I make, I'm gonna make comics. But I think about if I don't care about that stuff. I care about people chasing their dreams. But basically, if it's a dick measuring contest, I want the biggest dick, you know? I want to be able to shit on just about, if I need to.
So it's like, oh, if you see that, and I think that's the question we got to get to, is under what circumstances do you absolutely have to shit on someone?
All the time.
When
If you look, I work too hard to be disrespected. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. Life has been too hard for me, and it's too good for right now to anybody to condescend to me, anybody to talk down for me. I'm a grown ass man, bro. I work hard as shit. I went to work. You know, I wrote a 20-page script yesterday in one sitting. Somebody paid me to do it too. Flex. Talking about a flex.
Nice. Congratulations again.
Thank you. I drive up here. I'm in a meeting with my mans talking about.
Are you on Upwork by any chance?
No.
Would you think?
Probably not.
Okay, never mind.
I'm driving up here. I'm talking to my mans. We're having a meeting. We're talking about IPs. We're working at. I wake up. I go to a con. I come here. I report a con. Like, I'm just busting my ass. Like, who are you to talk? Who could talk down to me? You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think. I think what I'm trying to get better at now is like, when does somebody deserve to be shitted on? Like, I guess it's like, because I was just talking about this. I tweeted out, because I'm always on Twitter. I said I got 3 more projects coming out this year. We just talked about this before. I got 3 projects coming out this year, and this guy was like, "Don't overpromise." Who the fuck are you talking to? That's my first reaction. Is who the fuck are you? I don't overpromise. I deliver.
Oh no, who is this person?
It's a random. I don't know. I couldn't pick him out of a fucking lineup. I'm just saying that's the way that people are programmed to, like, be like, oh, slow down. I'm like, I'm not a slowing down kind of guy. Like, because you know what it is though. When I work like 3 books in advance. Like, the book I'm working on right now isn't going to come out for 3 more releases. So you see, like I'm having the art and cover done. There's a process in it, and it's a well-oiled machine at this point. So 3 sounds like a lot, but I got my process down, so it's not a lot. So does this guy deserve to get dumped on? I don't think so. I think it's a harmless, almost thoughtful comment, but in my head, I'm like, that's loser shit. Like, you like,
yeah. I mean, if you got what it takes to put it out and it doesn't kill you to do it now, that's the thing. Does it kill you to do it? Because you're also saying that you are tired as hell as you slurp the rest of the sugar-free Red Bull and toss that to the side.
Nah, I'm just fucking. Got the second one. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, go ahead and put that on ice.
No.
If you want me to, I can actually put that on this ice.
Dude, I don't need 2 Red Bulls for that long.
All right.
The thing is, I don't know, but I don't think when things are going well, I don't have a problem with that. It's when things mess up. That's the stressful part. But one of the releases is already done. And Choose the Thoughts 2. It's already completed. The interior is already done. We just need to be lettered and put together. Boom. There's your book.
But as far as the slowing down point, right? Like,
I don't slow down.
Right, but like, at what point do we?
I think, okay, so here's an example. September, I don't have a campaign. I probably won't have a campaign running September. So September, I'll probably just chill and kind of work on stuff. But I mean this truthfully. I don't get tired. Like I said, if things are going smooth, then it is what it is. It's when shit doesn't go right. But that's why you have to make a process and stick with it. So I'm very rarely, like, when I get chill time, I'm happy to get it, but I don't need to, like, I'm not gonna, I had a podcast, I did a con today, so let me chill so I can. No, I'm like, I'm gonna do the pod, I'm gonna do the con, I'm gonna do the pod, like, I'm gonna go home. I might work on some shit when I get home, like my mom's crib, like.
And you're fresh out of the August 26th and 27th, 2023. Today is, in fact, the 26th.
Yeah.
You really just got out of there. How was it? I mean, what was the energy like in there?
Bro, this shit was good. That shit was lit. Shit was lit. Cause I always, speaking of always doing something, I always have something to pay for. So it's nice. It's nice that to sell something to get money to buy some other shit. You know, like I feel like a mouse on a wheel, but you know the wheel's moving. It's spinning fast as shit.
That's a wild way to ever look at that, because no one has ever looked at that as no one's ever
lit.
said that phrase in a positive light. I'm a hamster on the wheel, but that wheel's motherfucking moving. No, okay.
And you know what? If I didn't feel like I was making progress, that's the hard part. But I can show you. Shit. I'm making progress.
Facts, for sure. Oh, imagine the feeling. I've thought about this before, of being a creative and doing, like, just oh my god, doing the thing all the time, and it's 5 years down the road, and feeling like I've gotten I'm done getting better. Like I'm not. I've plateaued years ago.
Went to high school with some of those
I haven't gotten better. That's crazy though, isn't it? To just it's like
can't imagine
because like what it takes to do something often and not get better is such a wild conundrum.
You gotta have self-awareness, dog, and that's what kind of pissed me off too about the reputation. Which, granted, I foster is like the idea that like, oh, you think you're perfect. Like, no, I think I'm just better than you. Truthfully, I don't think why the fuck would I be here or at a con if I thought I was perfect?
Do you often, what's the energy like at the cons amongst the creators? Do you ever feel any weirdness there? Oh, okay.
I think you're at a con, you're at an environment where there's not, obviously you can be into nerd stuff and not be like an awkward, like, but some people are like that awkward. Like, and you just, it's cool. Like they mean well, they're cool. But I don't really talk to other creators at the like when I'm at the con, I'm there to make bread, bro, because this shit is expensive, bro.
So you've never been at a con that you like where you saw somebody that was talking some shit on Twitter or anything like that?
No. But because Twitter is so big, I didn't know how close the circles might be in these comic book creators.
Yeah. But when you're going to things like Fairfax, I'm certain that's being tweeted about or it's being shared somewhere.
It's a small con.
Okay,
it's a really small con. Like going to Baltimore, and I think one of the Opps might be there. But
see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. See, one of the Opps is there.
Yeah.
Now, have you objectively as you could read this person's work? They're like their comic books. How robust is their repertoire? Like, what do they have?
Word?
Oh shit!
What's that fucking mid? I'm not fucking. So hold on, real quick. So what he tweeted out after that conversation about your comics aren't good enough or your comics aren't worth the bullshit. He was like, somebody told me that comics suck and that it really got to me. Little bitch, I'm glad it got to you. Somebody was like, you hurt his feelings. I hope I made that motherfucker cry. Bro, I hope we had a long look in the mirror after that fucking conversation. But I'm like, bro, if your comics suck, you'd have a lot of room to grow. Your comics are just mid. Like that I'm not even trying to be dismissive. They're mid. And I think what happened, I say writing, bro, oh my God. There's another hater who's almost so obscure. It's almost not, it didn't even cross my mind. I'm in a Twitter space and I think writing is a talent. I think you have to be curious as a person. You have to be able to read people. You have to be, there's so much stuff that goes into writing. And I said it was a talent. This person got mad and blocked me, which is crazy. Sometimes it's not even truthfully, that's not even a hot take. Just my perspective. So somebody posts or is like, will you be going to see this guy at a con? They're like, I would never go see him. And then I was like, yo, what's up? Like, are we good? Like oh no, I was just joking around. It's a little harsh. So they post on Facebook. The same person posts a different post on Facebook. Like, would you buy this comic? I would never buy his comic. I'm like, all right, now you're like on my dick. Like, this is crazy.
And how are you seeing the one on Facebook? Did someone send it?
The dude sends it to me.
Oh,
because he likes it. Some people like the drama, bro. I don't know.
Oh, that's another thing. That's kind of wild.
I'm glad somebody was talking. Earl, somebody was talking shit. Wouldn't you want me to? I mean, maybe you don't.
It would depend on like. No, probably not.
Probably not.
Like, yeah, if it doesn't have any real impact, if it doesn't really matter because they don't know who you are, they don't really like. You know what I mean? It has to. If they were like, "Yo, I'm fitting to rob this nigga's crib," I'm like, "Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I'm calling you immediately."
Okay,
right. But if someone's about to, if you're in harm, yes. But if someone's just like, "Fuck him," I'm not going to text you and be like, "Yo, Anthony, so and so said fuck you."
Man,
I'm not doing that.
You at peace, Brody, but.
I'm not doing that.
That's an example, but that's just one thing I even forgot about. And it's like, I'm like, it's a crazy thing that hits somebody and be like, yo, like, why are you talking about me? That's aggressive in people. These people will shit themselves. Like, that's like crazy rude or whatever. But, yeah, man. I mean, I'm making progress. I can't imagine doing something because that's exactly that's how I started. I was like, I'm not going to be somebody who's doing comics in 5 years. One that's like, remember when you used to make comics? I don't want that to be the conversation unless I'm making movies or TV shows or some shit. And I don't want it to be like, I'm doing this for a couple years. I don't like, even when I felt like my plates were spinning, I was still doing really well. I was still making comic books. My con sales went up. I made like $1,000+ at Awesome Con.
Okay, so more so when you say you elevated through the years, you're more. I mean, you may possibly be speaking about both. You mean the honing of the craft as well as your notoriety.
Yeah, like,
and what's the ratio between the two? Like, what's more important?
I think the getting better at the craft. Right. But I mean, like, here's the thing though. Like, I can make the best fucking comic and then just set it on my kitchen table, right? It wouldn't matter. So to an extent, you do need to, like, it does help to have clout. It does help to have notoriety, like you said. But like, it's the problem. And I think also it's like the idea of like, you can't do both. Like, I can get better at comics and talk shit. Like, somebody was like, why are you tweeting when you can get better at making comics? I'm like, oh, you just suck. Like, you can't multitask. I feel bad for you. That's a skill that children can use. Like, that's easy. That's easy shit. Like, why are you arguing people instead of getting better? Like, nah, bro. I need the argument to fuel myself to want to get. Actually, no, I know I was going to say, bro. It's almost like I've raised the stakes, and so I have to like rise to the occasion. Essentially, I have to clear the bar. Essentially,
yeah. I know people that work like that. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like
Mark Phillips from the RDC gang. They he said that every time they moved to a new house, he purposely bought a house that they couldn't quite afford yet because he knew it would drive him to work that much harder to be able to pay it off. So he just like kept doing that over and over. I was like, wow. To put that pressure on your shoulders to buy a fucking house you know you can't afford simply to grind. Like, wow, okay, yeah, like, you're different. Like, you're willing to take it to a certain level that like other people are not willing to take it.
Exactly. I mean, that's genius, and that's the way that people like they wire you have to wire yourself like that. You have to you can't, if you have a loser mentality. You're not about to do that. You're about to get the small crib, you know, and you're not gonna push yourself like I don't think there's anybody who's improved as much as I definitively as much as I have over the last, like, it's evident, bro. And it, like, even the shit I'm working on that I haven't even released, it's going to be so evident when you see what was going on in 2021 and then what you see what's happening next year.
How much of your time is spent reading other people's works?
You mean like indie creators?
Yeah. Well, because I would have to, so in order for you to make the claims that you're making about the ascension of your skill, right, amongst the ascension of everyone else's skill, you would have to be pretty tapped into what's going on out there.
I think I try to read comics every day. I try to, and I have read other stuff, but I think it's more so, it's almost relative to like where I was at when I started was good it was a good start, but it was a rough start. And then so now it's like if you're going from like, I don't know, a 3 to a 6 or a 7, you know. So it's relative to like I think what I was originally putting out and then what I'm putting out now. Yeah. You know, and, I mean not even now when I'm gonna be putting out next year, but I do read other people's stuff. You know, I think a lot of it's good, a lot of it's decent, a lot of it's mid, like I said.
Do you get any inspiration from anyone else's work on an indie level?
Yeah, my boy Pat, like I mentioned, he does basically like smart, sexy books. NSFW titties.
I was wondering because I was it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I was going through the Tap or Die, and I was like, oh, I even took a screen like a screen record of like me just scrolling through it for like 10 seconds, and I sent it to my lady, and I was like, oh, he's doing something different on this. Like he's getting into a little different space here. Some sexy time in there. Yeah, I was like, okay. This ain't bad.
The thing is, like, and because I backed myself into a corner, like people that would read my comic books don't like that, like cerebral smart stuff. They're not reading it basically. So, I mean, my ultimate goal is to make as many comics as possible. Like that's my ultimate.
Wow.
As many as I like want to make or whatever. I don't ever want to I don't ever want to not be able to make a comic because of finances. So it was a decision of like this dude Pat is making 20 plus comics in like 8 years or whatever. He's dropping full volumes, you know, thick motherfuckers, like 80 plus pages. I want to do that. So yeah, why not? You know, and leaning into that kind of stuff. My boy Richard, he does really smart cerebral stuff. and he was the guy who helped with Intrusive Thoughts.
Okay, I was going to ask you, is that what you sort of mean, like by smart cerebral intrusive thoughts?
Intrusive
sort of
thoughts,
things,
right? Like metaphorical, shit like that. And then Tapper died, which I think is still smart. Like I think it's a good book.
Yeah,
but I think that's not what you think of cerebral. Like it's very I would say visceral.
Yeah,
but yeah, basically, like what I'm trying to do now is make smart, sexy stories, right? Like and play with things. If I had to think of a movie equivalent, like maybe like Supernatural, how Supernatural is like really fun, like stuff that appeals, like it works on the very basic, like it hits all the pleasure receptors essentially, but it's like really good essentially is what I'm shooting for.
Okay. Yeah. That brings me, this is so funny that this just happened.
Okay.
I guess JP at one point in time had told
my favorite.
Had told me that we got to speak about it every pod. That you were critiquing the way that I explain things sometimes, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. She said that you were like, sometimes you just need a grilled cheese sandwich. And for anyone that doesn't understand, I'm assuming what you were saying is, Earl, sometimes less is more.
Yes.
Right. Now, the thing is this. What sort of grilled cheese sandwich are we talking about? Because there are a lot of different types of grilled cheese sandwiches.
Aged Gouda.
I mean, come on. There's brie, there's Gruyere cheese, and what sort of
caramelized onions?
Are we talking about brioche bread, or like what are we talking about? Sourdough? You know what I mean? Nice rye.
It's so funny because shouts out to JP. It's so funny because KD, Kevin Durant. I don't know how much you know about basketball, but I mean, he's just a really good basketball player, but not as good as people say, and that's important to the story. So there's this dude, Legend of Winning, who's like this big basketball. He's like the biggest person of YouTube basketball personalities, basically. And he was saying KD is not top 5. KD, it's a Twitter space. KD hops in the space, and he's talking. He was like, "I don't think you're top 5 because of this, that, this." He was making the argument that people will make excuses or exceptions to KD that you wouldn't make for other players. So if there was a player and at the bottom of your top 5 where you had them instead of KD, if you said playoff success, but then pointed out that KD got swept 2 years ago and then didn't make out the second round, but that person would say that person hasn't gone as far. KD essentially said sometimes it's just, are you good or not? And it's just the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. You're a professional basketball player. Sometimes you're good or not. It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Such a clown.
Oh man, I don't know where this took a wild left turn.
I think that's the opposite. I think I guess I'm arguing against myself. But like, I think sometimes you do look at things very introspectively.
Yeah, no. I've definitely spent way too much time on certain concepts trying to break it down to the degree. But there are certain. I thought that was hilarious when she said that. Just like
when she say
sometimes,
that?
This was a while ago.
Yeah,
but she was just like, he said sometimes you just need a grilled cheese, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious, and I feel you. But again, what sort of grilled cheese are we talking about?
See, there you go. You didn't even follow the you didn't follow the advice.
I know.
No, sometimes things are just that simple, but it just depends really.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, man. I just, I care about you. I want you to be as healthy as you can be whilst you still do what it is you do. Don't nobody want to take that away from you.
I'm just glad I'm not blackballed from the Any Last Words pod studio anymore.
This is and the newly created Earl's World studio. Oh shit. You know what I mean? It's been a transition.
Yeah.
It's been a new thing. I've only been here for like 3 months. But
I'm so mad I missed Mikey because my car, like I said, my car broke down. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good pod. And like I said, I didn't have any bits. I didn't have anything planned because there's just too much to catch up on. But
yeah, it's been a long time.
I mean, if it was Intrusive Thoughts, it's been like 7 months. Can I ask you what your general thoughts were about the comic book? And I want to point out, no, you know what? Not even gonna go there.
Oh, that's hilarious. I did go through Tapper Die. Intrusive Thoughts, I did like when you first sent it to me. So that was a while ago. So I'd have to go back. I just do remember some again, the feel of it, the noir sort of feel I had from it. The graphics, how vicious the graphics were.
Yeah.
And then I also had to read through the end of Decay because I hadn't read 4 and 5.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Oh man, first of all, it's like, yo, fucking everybody dies.
Everybody dies. It's lit.
I was like, well, if they're all coming back to life and they're in there with her, like, she's gonna die. I was like, okay, but he got back there in time. Like, okay, cool. So now it's a shootout amongst someone decaying and other people that just pop back into life. So that's kind of crazy. Okay, cool. I was like, but all right. And then when the dude popped up, I always say it looks like Fat Trail, popped up behind her, slid her. I was like, okay, so what I'm interpreting from this, because this is me, is that this whole book has been a story about vengeance.
Yes.
I mean, love, loss, vengeance.
Yes.
I read that and say, you should have left that shit alone. You should have learned. You should have found another way. You should have left that shit alone because now everyone's dead.
Everybody's dead.
Everyone is dead.
Everyone.
That was a cool little part where you put that power, one of those fucking abilities that DK has to be able to touch people and use his voice and all that.
Yeah.
It was very cool to have that Fat Trail looking nigga locked in a room thinking that was DK on the other end of the door, right? Just because he's fucking paranoid because it's a fucking gunfight and he has used that countless times now, right? So he knows, like, oh, well, he has this fucking ability and he just shoots through the door and kills his friend.
Okay, yeah, you're talking about issue 4. Okay.
Yeah, it's all jumping up. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's a cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great
I enjoy
series.
that.
I think it's a great series. I think we got the trade coming out. I got with an extra short, and I'm coming out with basically a sequel and then a prequel. So
oh damn,
we're busy.
The sequel and then the prequel after the sequel. You're gonna tell the story and then go back, right?
It's a Western that kind of uses the necklace being from the kid those that don't know. I mean, you should know. You should have bought the book, but basically, you put a necklace on a corpse, you bring them back to life. They lose if the necklace comes off their corpse. So just playing with that idea of being reborn. There's so many different. It's genreless, There's so many different directions to take it, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Where are you pulling ideas from? You're like, okay, I'm going to do Decay. I'm going to do Intrusive Thoughts, where you have this boy walking around. He's in therapy.
Yeah.
He's going. You're getting his intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And you're seeing his life ain't quite so nice. And there are people fucking picking on him. He's getting punched in his fucking face out of nowhere, right? Cracked, shit like that. And then, as always, there's some wild shit that happens at the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotta have the wild shit.
Where this motherfucker transforms.
Someone comes out of his head, yeah.
And so that's wild and very different than the first. Kind of, you could say, has some similar feelings and themes, right? Then you go to Tap or Die. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, what made him think about wrestlers? Like, let's just start very basic. Fuck everything else. Like, why wrestle? Are you a fan of wrestling?
Not really. So, what happened was my boy, I was like, yo, I want to collab, and I was trying to come up with something new. My boy had an idea for wrestling. He's like, it's like a revenge wrestling series. I was like, cool. And then that's when I came. But so I wanted to be, wrestling is a wide fan base. I want something that was more broad. And I don't care about wrestling per se, but I care that the character cares about wrestling. And that's basically what it is. Like when I watch Moneyball, I don't give a fuck about baseball.
That was fantastic.
It's a great movie
for sure.
It's an amazing movie.
1,000%.
So that's what it's like.
Don't give a shit about baseball.
I don't give a fuck about it. The movie's not even really about baseball. I don't even know it, but it's about analytics. And
yeah.
It's almost old versus new, which is a recurring theme in my life. And that's also what's happening. No, okay, I remember what it really was, because every premise I have to inject something of myself to be invested into it. So Tap or Die was really about like going up against people that they think they can boss you around because they've been here for a long time. And that's what it was. At my most frustrated in my career, I made a very angry comic book, basically, to be like, just as a catharsis.
That's Kanye's Jesus.
Don't ever compare me to. I have nothing to do with Kanye, bro. He's got off the deep end.
I have no idea what he's doing in his life.
Shit.
Yeah, okay, I could imagine that. It's weird here. Let me pull you up again.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let me get you right.
Oh man, about to start. Okay, but no, that's why. But also, you gotta think about it, like people are big into wrestling. So when I go to a con, so I don't know, I might have sold 70 copies of Tap or Die through the Kickstarter of the main cover, and then maybe I sold 30 at 2 cons. But like at any time I don't want to keep doing. What would happen is if I was at a con, like, do you like horror? No. All right, then I guess nice knowing you. Like, so I want to have something different for every person. Like, I want a sci-fi book. I want like a horror book, an action book, a spot. Like, if it was up to me, I would have literally every genre of, so that I can have something for you no matter what. And that's also why I work with different artists.
Okay.
Stretch the versatility. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. All right. So you'll sort of delve into different genres and aspects of life that you're not necessarily invested in.
Yes.
Inject some feeling or emotion or theme in your life into this thing, and then kind of just have that thing be nominal. Like, it's really just like some ancillary backdrop to the story. So that way you don't have to get too technical. You don't have to like do some shit. And people are like, that doesn't even happen at all that way.
Or people said I should have named the characters in the comic book after like the people I don't like, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that because I'm not getting sued.
After the people you don't like,
like, because that's
oh
stupid.
Man, yeah. See, now you're taking wild shots. Like,
yeah, that'd be dicky.
That's wild.
But I am capturing the spirit or like how they make me feel, and it, Decay was about getting like grief, Intrusive Thoughts was about like anxiety and depression, and then Tap or Die was about anger. But they basically like whatever lessons I should learn in therapy, I'll just make a comic book about it. I'm joking.
No, but but it's not bad though, because then you get to explore it in like some weird way. Like, you get to tell a story about it. That's kind of wild, isn't it?
That is wild. Well, I mean, I'm also like, shouts out to me for being so versatile. I mean, for somebody who doesn't try to get better or has too big of an ego, to be able to, do different genres is pretty impressive, I would say.
Yeah, even to have the want, like the desire to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't, like, when I think about podcasts, I mean, a lot of people are not really into, and trust me, this is not going to turn into me talking shit about other podcasts.
It should.
And just in case you were hoping for that.
Try.
But I know a lot of people have niche podcasts where it's like they like comic books, so they have a comic book podcast. You like movies, you have a film podcast.
Yeah.
It's like that. But very rarely is it just people having conversations on the fly, completely unscripted.
Yeah.
That's a very different thing. So it's very interesting that you don't have some genre that you really gravitate towards. You're like, no, I kind of want to just make them all.
I was talking this, and so another thing that was coming up was essentially like, I say marketing is a comic making skill. So marketing being getting the idea out there to a bigger audience. And the way that people feel is that they think it's a bad word. And this is like the most contentious opinion that I've had, because, and from my perspective, you have to sell your book to make more. You have to get an ROI. If you're a writer, you have to get an ROI to pay the artist. If you're an artist, your ROI has to be in the form of you need to make money to eat, to live. Like, so getting a return on ROI is good. And that doesn't mean, I think what people heard was like, oh, like make the most generic shit. That's what they hear. Like, makes the most generic shit ever. It's like, no, take your idea and maximize its marketing potential.
Okay, I see that other point. You're saying that they're just like, yeah, but you're watering down the thing.
That's what they think. They think that like, oh, I don't want to think about that. I just want to create, bro. I've done that shit where I just want to make a book. Guess what? It was really fucking hard. It was hard as shit to sell. It was hard as shit to sell the book. And look, if you want to do that, but don't bitch to me about nobody's reading your comic book if you're going to get aggressively mad at that. And that's the shit that popped off. That shit popped off. I had motherfuckers in my mentions for days. And I tweet it now. Nobody wants to argue with me. It's like,
wait a minute, what popped off? Like,
marketing is a comic making skill. People resentful of that because they're like, marketing is like it's like panel design and pacing and all that stuff. I'm like, yo, if you get better at this, you will get better. If you were to say, if you were exactly the same at everything that you did as far as the other skills, but your ability to market and understand trends went up 1,000-fold, it would get infinitely easier for you to make comics and to sell your idea and get ROI. Yeah. But people resent that. And I'm talking to my friend, and he's asked me 1,000 fucking questions about like this and that, this and that, this and that. And he's like, I want to do more broad stuff, but I'm scared like that I wouldn't be invested. But I'm like, but I talked about how I didn't care about wrestling, and then I injected or I made it relatable to me, and then vis-a-vis it's relatable to other people. So it's just ass backwards thinking, in my opinion.
Damn. So that person feels like they're getting stuck doing what? Like what sort of genre comic did they make? It's
almost not even the genre, but it's more so they feel as if you try to write something with an audience in mind, I don't want to say selling out, but I wouldn't care about that. But if you want to be somebody if you want to be like, I want to do work for hire, am I going to give a fuck about every single work for hire job I have? No. I would like, now again, I'll try to make something or find something interesting. My boy paid me to write a script. I can't even say who because I violated NDA. But he was like, it's supposed to be fun. Don't overthink it. So I make a story where I don't explain a fucking thing. I don't explain a single thing about lore or backstory or nothing. I just write it, and I was like, okay, this is an exercise for me to write in a particular style. So it's like you just got to find a way to get invested. I just think people just have the wrong mentality, and then at that point, it's like, can you come up with something that pops? Because that's the only way you're gonna make it. And I don't know. It's everybody's talking about how little money there is, and then y'all don't care about finding an audience, basically, or you're bad at it. So that's another thing that is like it was a big moment of contention, essentially.
Damn. I see how that could be that. Some people are just like probably would call themselves or think of themselves as purists.
Yeah.
Like keep it pure. Like don't run off and do that. Do what just comes from your heart. Like write it down, blah blah. And then you're just like, no, like I'm trying to create an audience. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to create an empire. I'm trying to do things. Like I'm gonna take this route.
Trying to step on the Opps' neck. I need an audience to do that.
Yeah, no, that's at the end of the day, everybody has to be responsible for what they consume. So like they don't, this was my point at the beginning. They don't need to be upset about you being divisive or you creating a bunch of different types of comics. Because if people want to listen to you or read your comics, then they should be able to fucking listen to you or read your comics.
Yeah.
Like period. Like if they like you or they like the comic, then they should go listen to you and read the fucking comic. Regardless of if it's pure or not. Like that's not listen, man, there will be people that will always love the types of comics that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And those people will always have those.
Yeah.
But like listen, man, this is a boom. This is the age of the internet.
Yes.
Okay? There's gonna be something for everyone.
Yes.
You don't have to go and that's why you're saying hall monitoring. Like you don't have to go and try to make sure that only the right stuff from your standpoint, of course, comes out and everyone else you don't need to do that.
And
we don't need to yellow tape this.
And what pisses me off is that you're implying you're implying that I don't love writing. There's nothing more than I love in this earth than writing. Like I'm shaving years off of, hopefully not years, but I'm shaving time off my life to hopefully be able to create comics full time. I'm making sacrifices you're not willing to make. Like if anything, I love comics more than you. Or writing.
Yeah, those sacrifices.
Nobody loves writing more than me, bro. But that's the thing that bothers me is it's like because I care about making ROI, I care about it less. But it's like, no, I need to do whatever I can to make sure I can keep doing what I love, which is writing and telling stories.
That's a good perspective. Listen, that's not, you know what I mean? It's not terrible, you know?
I think like spit.
Yeah, like it's not bad. Like I wouldn't be upset at that. Like I understand someone not wanting to do it that way.
Yes.
But like that's not a bad perspective at all.
Don't do what the fuck you want, but don't you bitch on the timeline if your comic book's not selling. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. I don't give a fuck because you could have done XYZ to make it better. And you know what it is? I told your ass. Like it's like when your parents told you how to do something and then X happened, and you're like, oh man, like don't. But it's too late at that point, you know.
So what are you telling them? What is this message that you're
marketing is a complimenting skill, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling them. And it's the way, because I'm trying to get you to frame it. And this is really true for anything, but if you frame it as a skill, you'll get better at it. You'll put effort into it. And people will be like, I'm not good at selling my comic books. So you're not good at making comic books. What other way is there to put it? If you can't sell an idea, you're bad at making comics.
Okay, so you're bad
at making anything.
That's
really.
All right.
Contentious.
So the contentious point. All right. So what if someone does enjoy making something?
Yeah.
But they just hang it up in their house.
That's 100% valid. But why are you on? My argument was like, why are you on Twitter? Like, because generally Twitter is a networking platform and a promotional platform. If you're an artist, and it's 100% valid to do.
But what I'm saying is, you can make that painting or do whatever that thing is at home, or you could come up with a new, guitar riff or a new song, and it could be fire.
Yeah,
just at the house,
at the crib.
So what I'm saying is, you can make a fire comic book. And it no one could know about it, and it could be fire.
My argument against that, because you're right.
So you're not bad at making comic books. You made a fire comic book. You just don't know how to market it, and you don't care to.
Well, the amount of people that I think generally, because keep in mind, how are you getting the money for this, right? And
working a job,
you have to pay. Oh, sure. So you have to pay an artist to make it, or what have you. But then it becomes a matter of I need my job. I need dispensable income. I need dispensable income to do this, which is fine. My point is always, my retort is that I think those people are way less common than the people that are trying to get ROI. Why are you on Twitter? What would drive you to get on Twitter if you're not trying to link up with other artists or get an audience or what? Like, why would you comment on that thread if it doesn't? Somebody said, oh, well, I'm the artist, so I don't have to worry about making ROI. And I said, but you're still, you have essentially your ability to make art in your free time is dependent on your financial stability. So they were saying that they're on disability, so that's why they can just draw, and it's like a way for them to spend their time. Like, that's great, that's beautiful, but your ability to draw is dependent on your the disability. If you were to get removed from disability, for instance, then you have to choose. Am I gonna I don't know? I'm like let's simplify. Like, obviously, there's a lot of layers here, but then the conversation would become in a very binary way. Do I get a job, or do I double down on the comics? Which, in that point, you would need an ROI. So it still kind of comes back to, it still comes back to being able to sell this thing helps you make more of it. And again, the people that you say exist, I just don't think they're on Twitter.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You're really talking about the people on Twitter. Like, if you're here, you're a creator, you have a Twitter page for your content.
Exactly.
Like it seems like you're trying, like you would like to push this, or you would like for it to be known. Right. So, okay. I see.
And this one dude was like, jobs exist, bro. So if your job fires you, which if this happened to me, if I lost my job, I could know there's an argument. And that's what I'm trying to get to. There is possibly a point where I could continue to make comics if I lost my job, right? Where I've invested enough into it that it's like a self-propelling machine. I don't think I'm there yet, but it's possible. That's my goal, to where really I want to be a full-time creator, and I'm taking steps to become a full-time creator, hopefully.
You're trying to carve that out, yeah.
So essentially,
that's why you double down on this idea. Like, I'm doing whatever it takes in order for that to be the thing.
Because I'm sick of this shit, bro. I'm waking up mad early. I'm like, that's the end goal for me, because if I work from home, being a Kickstarter creator, whatever, then I make my own schedule. I can go to the gym. I can eat better. I mean, theoretically, like at least I wouldn't have any excuses at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my goal right now, and the thing that I'm trying to accomplish, that is I'm starting basically I'm hoping that my comics become on their own, like an Anthony Stokes production begins to get in the black, right? So it's no longer a money sink. It's the money is self-perpetuating, and then I can focus on other stuff or just save it or whatever. Where investing money is an optional at that point. I'm also doing, like I said, a series of comic books with my boy. My boy just hit 20K on Kickstarter.
Nice.
Or he's close. He's really close. I'm gonna check real quick.
Very nice.
But essentially, so we're gonna try to use that momentum to do a bunch of series, and hopefully those will hopefully do 20K, right? And then so if those are doing 20K and we're both putting money, and if I can do like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those campaigns, that's its own thing. My comics are their own thing. It's possible. It's possible to.
Yeah. So you're trying to set it up. I see you. I see the vision. I understand the vision.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what you're looking forward to in 2024 so much. Like
2024, 2025, I'll be able to know basically it's shit or get off the pot, because now I have a car note, which I didn't have 2 fucking weeks ago. So the stakes are higher essentially. So it's like, it's kind of shit or get off the pot, but I have complete faith in the idea that I'm working on. I got a new comic book. I'm actually doing a comedy, like speaking of branching out. I'm actually doing a comedy. It's called It's Fun to Kill People. And it's
oh shit.
It's fun to kill people, and it's basically about a mother and son, and the mother's like a serial killer, and it's kind of like a Calvin and Hobbes kind of vignettes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get that picked up, and that's one thing. I just have like, I'll pull up a picture for you, but of the inks, because this is what I'm excited about. You just gotta flip through and see what you think. You can see you can tell me if you think the art's gotten better in the last 2 years.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, this is a completely different style. I like this cartoonish stuff.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get published there, get some more. Just I got my hands on a lot of pies, I guess is the term.
Yeah, you're living.
Did you get
you're breathing, drinking this lifestyle. I
like it, man. Like I like being creative. Like I think one thing I really like in doing a comedy, because I really love comedy, right? And I love coming up with an idea, and I kick it over to somebody and they make it better, and I kick it back and they make it better. You're sitting there and you're riffing and you're coming up with. That's what I really want to do. So I really want to end up in a writer's room. And I think that'd be so fun, just collaborating and just like I said, getting ideas out there, like and just coming up with something creative and like really funny and stuff like that.
I'm always interested in how different artists jam. Like I've been a part of, I've had a guitar and been across from someone else with another guitar and someone with a drum kit and jammed musically. I've had clearly a million conversations now. Like I've done different types of jamming, but like jamming in a writer's room, I wonder what that's like. Trying to sharpen each other's stories, and like, how do you do it? Like, oh, it'd be so much better if you told it like this. Like then that way they wouldn't know this was coming, or this was like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what does that look like? I don't even know what a writer's room like really looks and sounds like.
I think I've got a little bit of that, because I would have a premise essentially for this, right? So it's like vignettes. It's like 4 to 6 page vignettes. I'm trying to think of here's a bit. You're getting an exclusive here. Definitely don't want to talk right now, because otherwise I wouldn't say this. So he's a kid. He's a genius because his mom's a psychopath. So he's a bit of a psychopath. So he's going to school, and he's like in a high school. So they have sex ed class, and he's like, I finally get to learn like what a vagina looks like. And they're like, bro, we can't be in here. So they kick him out. So he starts trying to Google like what a vagina looks like. He wouldn't say vagina, but he doesn't know what it looks like. He's a genius, but he's still a kid.
Yeah.
Principal catches him. He runs. He goes to the shaft, and it's like Die Hard. And so they have the woman's legs, like the diagram, on a projector. He crawls out the ventilation system, and then like he rips through the projector as if sticks his head out as if he was being birthed by the diagram. And he turns around. He's like, I kind of get to see, and it's like a big hole in between her legs.
Wow.
And he's like, I'll never know what it looks like. And the teacher's like, well, I mean, you more or less got it. Like,
oh, yeah, that was creative.
It's like a back and that was coming. That's going back and forth with people. Like, oh, what if you did this? What if you did that? What if you did this? And shit like that. Like
the imagery is fun. The imagery
it's
of that
fun.
is fun.
It's kind of smart. Like it's like that Calvin. I grew up on Calvin and Hobbes. I love that. I love that. I mean, Garfield. Like I used to be grounded a lot. And the best part of my weekend was when the Sunday paper came out because it had Sudoku and it had the cartoons.
Okay, so I was reading the cartoons, but I wasn't playing Sudoku. I wasn't that kind of smart. But I did love to read the Boondocks.
Yeah.
I did love Garfield for sure.
Yeah, Family Circle.
I don't know if I did Calvin and Hobbes too much. I saw it over there, but I didn't really think I did too much with that.
Like I did. It's like it recalls a classic, and I don't like necessarily like let's turn this bright, happy thing into like a cynical, like dark. I'm not a fan of that, but I think it more so just has that identity, and I think it's in the spirit of Calvin and Hobbes. It's just more, graphic, like it's just more mature. I think so. I think this is like I truthfully think this could be a great. I'm gonna start pitching that if it gets picked up, man. I think that this can be a game changer, like a major game changer. So, like,
would you do?
What?
I'm just imagining you like doing master classes at any point in time. Like, would
just check my Twitter.
Would you want to see? I thought you might say some shit like that. I was gonna say, would you ever hold a space where people could come see you, talk to you, maybe even just virtually?
That's what we used to do.
Yeah,
we had this store. We were doing pitches, right? Elevator pitches, which is like elevator pitch is in the time it takes for you to get to like the first floor in the elevator, all the way up. You've sold an idea. So we were working on that, and then so there was a guy, and I need to work on this because I'm raw at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like in 2021 or even 2022, I'm still very much raw. Like let me be clear. I think I just have like I can just soak up things and I try really hard, but. So it's like this dude, he's talking, and like we all do our pitches, whatever. This dude's like, I'm like, yo, what's your elevator pitch? Keep in mind what an elevator pitch is. This dude's like, yo, let me start off first. I was a kid watching TV. And I'm shit, fuck me.
Oh man,
this dude's rapping about this fucking idea, and the way he's talking about an idea is he's talking about it as if it's a thing. He's like the Zarnaks are beefing with the Zingongs or whatever. They just naming shit. I'm like, yo, hold on, bro. What the fuck is that? He's like, oh, it's this. He gives context. Dude is rapping. So I set my phone for 5 minutes. I set a timer for 5. I put myself on mute, set a timer for 5 minutes. The timer goes off. I hit repeat. The timer goes off. He is still pitching.
Oh.
After that, we made a rule. We added a time limit. 30-second pitches.
Well, yeah, I was about to say,
with the cable break on the.
I feel like
on the elevator.
Yeah, I feel like we gotta have a better understanding of what that's supposed to be, because maybe some people like really don't know. They're just like, I'm supposed to be filibustering until there's nothing left until I'm out. You know what I mean?
I think what it
like
is,
I gotta give it my all. Like that's what they're thinking. Like everything I got.
Some
like,
DMX energy.
You know what I mean?
I think people get too, and this is something I also have. I came up with this idea and I wrote like 27 script issues of it essentially, and I scrapped it. I had to scrap it, and I've been writing, keep in mind, for like 8 years, I think, even longer, before I even had Decay published. So I was used to heartbreak. So to me, it's like you get married to your idea. You're like, I'm gonna make the next Star Wars, but like the Star Wars didn't start off like this. George Lucas had done American Graffiti. Star Wars was supposed to be like this weird little movie, and then it blossomed into this big mega thing. Like Peter Jackson did, I forgot what it was called, but his first movie wasn't Lord of the Rings. It was like some kind of like, it was an exploitation movie. So it's like y'all are trying to like leapfrog into doing some big epic, and frankly, what if you get it wrong? Like what if it just doesn't hit? You're gonna be trying to run through a brick wall if it doesn't work. That's also why I want to work on multiple things. Like I will work on Decay. There's going to be a Decay sequel, Decay prequel. There's going to be a sequel to Intrusive Thoughts. There might be a spinoff for Tap or Die, but overall, I'm looking to do new stuff, put more eggs in more than one basket. And that's a dude who's like way too in love with his ideas, bro. Like that's
Are there too many baskets? Is that a thing?
It could be. Oh yeah, it could absolutely be a thing. It's a thing for me.
Okay, but you feel like you got a decent understanding and management of when you're being stretched too thin?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I would say I'm getting there, but I think what I'm doing right now, one is September. Or I guess, in September, I got like Baltimore Comic-Con, but that's almost more of like a chill. I got all my peeps with me. That's almost more of a vacation than a work trip. Like I work for 8 hours. I go and party with my mans. I got a Vegas trip next year for my birthday. And then I'm chilling. Like I don't have a lot of, I'm not having podcasts. So that's a time, like for instance, I have a 5-issue volume of I had to write. So I'm stretched too thin. Let me just power through and knock it out. Like I knocked out a rough draft I talked about on Friday. I knocked a 20-page rough draft out. I'll just knock out a rough draft and then hey, my workload just got smaller. So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm really good at compartmentalization. Like I'm not going to worry about something. Oh man, so Tap or Die, right? It does $6,000. Like 100. I think it was like 173 backers. So people get paid to get drawn to the comic book, right? Which is great. It's good for them. It's good for you. And the guy DMs me. He's like, so he, can me and my friend applied. Can we get drawn in together? I was like, yeah, you can get a tag or whatever. Yeah, sure. And then so the campaign ends. He's like, yo, can I send you references for like the character I want? I was like, yeah, for sure. So he sent it to me, and he sees the book, the PDF. He's like, oh yeah, no, so it's in black and white. That's cool. So just at a glance, which of my characters do you like the best? And I'm like, I'm not even responding to this. I'm not even thinking about Tap or Die 2. Tap or Die 2, I'm not worried about that until October. I'm worried about fulfilling Tap or Die 1 and then whatever the fuck else I got on. He DMs me a couple days ago. He's like, everything came here. Thank you. Are our characters going to fight together? Are they going to do this?
Oh, he's trying to learn.
He's still trying. I'm like, bro.
He wants to know the plot. He's trying to get in on the making, the process.
I'm like, I'm not even thinking about Tap or Die.
Like he paid to be like a producer.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Yeah. That's what I need. I need to make an executive.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like he paid to kind of EP. He was like, yeah, so go ahead and send me some drafts. Like, let me see what you're working on over there. Like, you know what I mean? I'll send you some stuff back. We can kick some ideas off each other.
Yeah. Like,
I'll tell you what, but it has to feel good that you have people that want to do that and are invested and feel excited that their name is going to be in there. They're going to have a character in the next book. Like that's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
That you like, did you get that from somewhere?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Almost all of my ideas are from another place. Like I brought that up. I brought that up to illustrate how compartmental, like what my thinking is like. If I think about Tap or Die 2 right now, like I have a rough draft for Tap or Die 2. I put the rough draft away. It's chilling. When I come to it again in like a month or two, it's going to feel like somebody else wrote it. And then I'll worry about it then. But I'm not going to bog myself down thinking about Tap or Die 2 when that comes out in January.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. You can't really. But again, I just think it was sweet little.
It is nice.
They were like, "Oh, what are they going to be doing? Are they going to be fighting each other?
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nice. I mean,
they were excited.
I only have so much patience for that sort of thing because like you didn't pay me to bug the fuck out of me.
You sound like Keon when he's DJing. He hates people making requests.
That's crazy.
But that's an occupational hazard.
That
like,
is.
Like, what do you're the DJ. People are going to approach the DJ booth and ask you to play with the fuck. He hates that shit. He's just like, let me fucking play my set. Like I know how to play my set. He fucking hates that shit. And this is what I'm hearing from you. It's just like your patience runs thin. When
Keep in mind though, bro, the campaign ended 20 fucking days ago. Keep in mind, bro.
He's like, yeah, but that other one coming. Coming. So I'm trying to see what that's like.
You're right, though. It's nice. I'm not trying to. Like I said, I'm just trying to. But I mean, I'm really a student of like the platform of Kickstarter. Like my boy Pat, my boy Chris hit me up and he was like, yo, these digital Luxes is a move. So digital Lux is $5 for PDF. The digital Lux, you add some bonus content. It's $10. So, it doesn't have to be, it could be anything. Like I do interviews with my man. So I say an exclusive interview with so-and-so, and I'll end up getting more pledges for the digital deluxe than the PDF. It's a $5 increase. It costs nothing. So, and I think that goes back to that's not marketing. I mean, no, it is marketing actually. It's like just that slight choice resulted in me getting a couple more $100 straight profit. So it's just thinking about little stuff and being as crafty as possible, because I'm trying to I'm trying to squeeze out every bit of ROI I can get out this bitch.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly. I see. How many things are you giving away these days? And because I'm certain, I mean, for Decay, I remember there was all sorts of motherfucking rewards or claims that people can get. Like it was a lot of things. Do you have that many levels of things? You had necklaces going out. No. You had
I know, because
various covers of the volumes coming out.
I've skimmed down a lot so that like my goal is essentially to have a Kickstarter, maybe not on my page, but money. I want a campaign active through me or my combined page at all times. So you basically have to simplify the process. Mm-hmm. So like getting the necklaces was a pain in the ass. Like it was so fucking. I bought some like the stones for somebody, and they didn't do it, and they didn't give me the stones back. It's just a pain. It's just a pain in the ass.
They didn't do it, and
they didn't give the stones back that I bought for the necklace.
You didn't give the stones back. They
didn't even give them back.
Oh, because like what you gave them stones, they were supposed to cut it. Like they were supposed to wrap
the metal around it.
Oh, wrap the metal around it
and then attach it to a necklace and then send it back. And they never did it. Never got the stones.
Damn.
So I'm trying to what I do now is variant covers. So like it's like variant covers and then bundles. Like, okay, do you want all the variants or 2 specific variants or whatever? And that's how I make the money. Because again, I'm trying to simplify the process. Like I have 45 packages to. I fulfilled like 90 packages over a weekend. Just trying to,
and that's just you,
just me.
Oh yeah,
Dolo.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
So I bag it up one day. Like I'm on Twitter Spaces, bagging up comments, like hundreds of them shits. Then the next day I grab them and put them in the Gemini mailer, and then I'll take it. And the motherfuckers, the motherfuckers at the front office of the post office with all there's one chick that told me, she was like she threw her hands up because there was a line and shit. So I just go and drop it off. I got the thermal printer. I just dropped that bitch off in the little blue bin. I hope they still have to count that shit. They still have to scan that shit in. I hope it pisses them off.
Yo, you're a fool.
What do you mean? Why she mad at me, bro? I'm bringing you business. I didn't tell you to apply at the post office.
Wow, you're doing 90 packages
in a weekend
by yourself.
By myself, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot when it's just you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot when it's just you.
You know what's cool though, and this is actually something good that's happening. I'm seeing somebody.
Oh wow!
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
yeah. Trying to get like you, brother.
Okay, somebody came across your hateful ass. That's fantastic, man. Okay,
bro.
What's going on? What's happening?
So I mean, I'm gonna keep. I
Yeah, you don't gotta be too crazy. You don't gotta do too much. But just give me just some basics.
It's somebody that I've known for a while, and they, we've been friends, and they became recently emotionally available. They read all my scripts. They're kind of like my editor. They read all my scripts, and we can always find something to talk about. And we're dating now, so it's nice.
Okay.
So,
all right. How long has that been a thing now?
This has been a thing for I think we started dating August 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
this is fresh.
Maybe I won't be bagging the comics by myself.
This is that is nice. Oh yeah, that is nice.
Yeah,
that is nice. You have somebody that fucking support. You said she gotta support.
She gotta support I gotta support her dream. Well, my boy Chris is sick, bro. He was like, I want a girl that down for the cause, preferably not a writer, because I already do that.
Preferably not a writer. That's crazy. Because I already do that.
But
you need her to cover some other aspect.
Maybe she can get really good postage rates. I'll fuck her ass. She's great.
But it is great to have someone that really does support you around for those types of things when you're trying to get some shit off the fucking ground.
She's back. She backs all my. She didn't back this campaign, but it was a short one.
Mm-hmm.
And no, she's incredible. She just makes me insanely happy. We never had a fight. Which is, I mean, maybe my reputation is a little bit unearned if I'd never gotten into a fight with somebody that I've been talking to a lot.
And you said you've been friends with this person for
almost a year.
Oh, okay.
Almost a year, yeah.
Interesting turn in the relationship.
Relationship.
You know, you said she just became recently emotionally available.
Emotionally available, yeah. No, it's really sweet, man. She's it's amazing. She's fantastic. She makes me happy. There was a point where I just got overwhelmed because I'm like, damn, I'm getting all these work for hire jobs. Like, you know, things are going good over there. Like, I could get everything I want within the next couple of years, you know? Because I do want somebody, bro. Like, it's like...
What does the grind look like when you have a family?
I didn't say family.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. I thought the way you was looking and smiling, I thought you was looking in the future, and I saw a bright future with little dogs and little children running around.
Never a dog, bro. I'm thinking about, like, if I were to have children, that's free labor. Thinking back
it is. Comics. At least it was when I was a fucking kid. A lot of these kids are not working, but I was doing it all.
I'm not thinking about a family right now. You know, obviously we just started like dating or whatever. But she like really is just somebody that makes it easier for me to do it. Like, I couldn't date somebody that didn't make me better, you know? Like, you need to help each other get better, to be clear.
Also to be clear, I also don't want to sound like I'm saying, oh, you're a month in, get her to start bagging up these damn comics. Like,
that's what I'm saying. You know, I said it.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said that.
Once she's my girlfriend, it's up. It's up. Hey, babe, grab some comics. You're going to earn your dinner tonight.
Yo, you're a fool, girl. What time is it? I'm about to take a pee break. Yeah.
All right, bet.
Oh, bathroom break.
Yeah. So I guess, my hateful ass found somebody. And I think the thing that sticks out and why I think she's so great is that she has like a lot of emotional maturity.
That's important.
Which is why I think we avoided having a fight. Like, I have fights with people sometimes.
How is that manifested itself? Like, what does the emotional maturity look like?
It's just you know, saying how you like. There's no we never had a passive aggressive moment, which is like has been a thorn in my side. We're gonna fight. If you're being passive aggressive, we're gonna fight. Like, because like I feel like that's manipulative. I truthfully feel like that's manipulative. It's also like a trigger. I realize like triggers are like real. Like, I guess.
You didn't like people using it at first. You just thought it was like a fad term, and then you're like, "Damn!" Term. Like, I feel triggered.
I feel triggered. Like, for an example, like I'll go to my aunt's house and it's a new carpet, and it would remind me of the carpet at my dad's old apartment.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that was a thing of like it would just be tough, and I started sleeping in the basement. They put me in the basement last time. The basement was cool. But
did you know that immediately? Like when you saw the carpet?
Yeah. I started breathing a little heavy. It was rough, and it's like you want to be happy for it's your aunt. This guy has a new place. Like it's amazing,
right?
But just stuff like that, and I've realized that I have a lot of triggers like passive aggressiveness. It just reminds me of how people condescension. It's just like, oh well, you I have an example, but it's of a specific person, so I won't. But this is a fun story. I'm with somebody who shall not be named, and let's call
him Zoe.
Let's call her Zoe. So we park our car. We're going to the hotel by Dunkin' Donuts, right? So we're going up there. It's just the homies. It's the homies from school or whatever, or from Osborne or whatever. We're chilling. And like I was like, oh man, and like I was with Jared. Jared was like, oh, they've been gone for a while. So I text him like, yo, what's up? Like, y'all good? Like, oh, we got the car towed. So we come back. They pull up and they got the car back. So we're leaving. And they're like, I was like, damn, that sucks. You got towed. Yeah, I got towed. Like, damn, that's rough. It's like, yeah, it was like $150 or whatever. I'm like, that's a tough break, $200. And then she was like, oh, this other person paid, half of it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's real nice of them. That's real considering. Like, yeah, it'd be nice if somebody else would pay the other half, since we were all in the car. And I was like, Zoe, are you asking me for something? Are you requesting something from me? Because, I would say yes. Like, if you were to just ask me to help pay for the tow, I would pay for it. Or the getting towed or whatever. But like, it's shit like that where I just couldn't. Yeah, even, and I could still be a dick.
Yeah, that's not the way to ask somebody. Like, I get it. That it isn't the way to ask someone, and you really can't hold in the issues.
Yeah.
Like you got to have that conversation. Now there's compromise there too, because I do feel like if you all are not in the state to have the conversation that needs to be had, then it's like, hey, we need to take a break and come back to this.
Go to our corners.
In a better headspace. Exactly. But you gotta get it out. You will grow resentment. That's how we're built. Like you will grow resentment for someone not changing after you have not told them why you're upset with them.
That's essentially what that happens to me sometimes, and it's unfortunate. Like the resentment thing, essentially. Like, yeah. That's a really good point, and something that I've realized is I've been at odds with my core friend group. I made a post about how nobody, I mean, the only motherfuckers that are backing my campaigns from Manassas right now are Mikey and Lukey D and my boy Josh.
Hey, man, fucking, first of all, shout out to Mikey. Wildin', always a real one, solid. Wait a minute. That needs to go, if it's not already, into one of these comic books. That part of you needs to be injected into one of these stories. The person that feels at some sort of odds with the people amongst them. Even, you know, that's interesting.
Yeah, because and I guess I understand. And I used to be. I made a post about it because I want them. Almost under the N word. I want them motherfuckers to know, because I don't know. I feel like I'm a real supportive guy personally. So I also don't appreciate always things like, oh, you know, everything's always about me or whatever, which is bullshit. I feel like I'm a pretty supportive guy, but I mean, I get it. But essentially, I had to rewire my thinking. Right, like I live comics. You know, like I'm just like 100%. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, not that I don't enjoy myself. Like, I'm doing this, which is like, you know, I'm not promoting a comic here. I'm just chilling, like catching up and stuff like that. Like I just said, I'm seeing somebody, but even this person, like one of the things that I'm joking about bagging up comics, but one of the things I appreciate about them is like, hey, you read my scripts, like you help me get better, you know, and that's something I value. You're helping me get better. I help you get better as well. So it's a complete shift in my personality over the last couple years. And I think some of them motherfuckers are just bums, but I understand the disconnect. Like I understand why that might be a bit of a turn off as far as personality. I've kind of like come to peace with the fact that like I got love for all my friends, but we're just not meant to be close right now. We're just not in the same mindset. Like I told y'all about the guy who he's on a Twitch, and I said, hey, you give me like a couple months, I'll make you a Twitter account and I'll get you a bunch of followers. He was like, oh, so I'm supposed to wait around for a couple months? Forget about it. You're not there, bro. Like I feel like some people, y'all just don't want to give up on your dreams. Like y'all don't. Y'all don't want to aesthetically give up on your dreams, but you already have, essentially. Like you're not dedicating yourself in the same way that I'm dedicating myself.
That's tough, man. Just getting kind of trapped by thinking like, dude, what am I gonna do? Just say I'm not doing this thing anymore?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be like, hey, that nigga's not doing that thing anymore. Like that's what's going on in your mind. You're like, I can't fucking do that. Like I guess I gotta keep doing it, but my heart's not in this. I don't care about it. I'm done. Like I don't believe in it anymore.
It hurts.
That's rough. That's a rough place to be in.
I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine.
But I guess a lot of people do that though. Like pretend to be something or have certain values because of social pressure. Yeah, that's ultimately what it is.
Well, you're right in that, and I understand. Nobody wants to be seen as a quitter. But like, bro, just be honest. You a quitter. Like you quit things. It's all good. Like most people quit. Yeah, most people quit stuff. It's okay.
I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be.
Yes.
Like, most people have...
There's only one president.
How many... Yeah, like, how many things is a human being going to try?
Yeah.
Versus how many things is that human being going to continue to do their entire life? Like, you got to quit. You're going to quit something.
And if you were to commit yourself to something, you would act and look like me, like, essentially.
Yo,
I'm spitting the truth. We just talked about this, bro. I had a con today. I'm doing the podcast. I'm gonna get off. I'm probably gonna talk to my comic bros and work on comic books.
You would look and sound like me, essentially.
You would look at, like, when you dedicate yourself, that's what you would look like. The things that you're seeing that you see as arrogant or what have you. It's like you're fucking, I'll say it again. I am fucking arrogant. I'm not arrogant because what I'm doing, I'm arrogant because I have the capacity to learn and the drive to get better. Like, I just don't see myself quitting. Like, I just don't.
You could be the person that's like you could be a super humble, successful person. Like
100%.
Like those,
but not me.
You know, that's what I'm saying. So, like, it doesn't have to look and sound like you. Like, you have MMA fighters like Conor McGregor that's just constantly talking shit and spitting in people's faces and then beating the shit out of them. And then you have other people that just like pray. They go in there, they don't say a word, they just meditate, and then they fight, and then they leave, and they go home to their family, and they're just at peace. It's very, very weird, and they're both elite fighters in fucking UFC.
When I say that you would act like me, I don't mean in terms of like being boisterous. I mean in the way that you behave. You would, if you were dedicating yourself. There's just certain things I'm not tolerating. Like I said, I think my boy. I remember I talked about this. My boy was like, "You failed at screenwriting." It's like, I didn't fail at screenwriting because learning screenwriting has now helped me make comics, which has now helped me bring in revenue that you've never gotten from any creative endeavor that you've had.
And that might be a lot of the stigma that comes with quitting, because it's like that thing is over and done with completely, and it was a waste of time. But that's if that's how you feel about it. You don't have to do something for a long time and then once you're done with it feel like it was a waste of time. There could have been a bunch of skills that you picked up along the way doing that thing that you could transpose to something else.
That's a pivot. Yeah, that's more of a pivot than a quit. Like, I didn't quit screenwriting. I pivoted to comic books, and then a lot of the stuff that I learned and picked up from that, I brought over to here. If you were to go from a podcaster to, say, a radio jockey, then that's not. It's ultimately the same thing. Like, I don't consider that quitting, and I think, like, I can't. I'm being facetious because I understand, bro. I understand it's hard. Nobody understands more than me, bro. I am fucking exhausted. I work so goddamn hard, but like, of how easy it would be. But it's just like, so sometimes people are just built different. To me, it's
we
like,
need to get that quoted. Sometimes people are built different.
I think it's performative. Sometimes you just don't want to be. You're not a dreamer necessarily. You just don't want to be a bum. It's like, you don't have to dream and chase your dreams and not be a bum. Like, there's some really humble, there's some genuinely nice people that just want to go on about their day and just be good people, and I appreciate that. Yeah. But you know what those people aren't doing? They're not talking shit to me. Those humble people are nice and pleasant and stuff like that.
They're just at fucking home with their dogs, doing their job, enjoying their life.
Chilling. I like to get
they're not on Twitter talking shit, talking about you're being divisive.
Okay.
You're gonna split comic book creators and fans apart. Why are you speaking like this?
That's literally exactly.
You're gonna water down the genres. You're just taking. You're, what do they call them? A culture vulture. Somebody must have thrown that at you.
No.
They didn't throw that at you yet?
That would sound crazy racist.
Oh.
Culture vulture, because like you're black in basically a white space. That'd be crazy.
I mean, so in the sense of taking from the different genres that you don't necessarily care for.
No, because I don't tell people I don't care about wrestling. Like, I would never say there's a platform. Like, I don't think there's an intersection between like my indie comic audience and then like this podcast. So like, I would say some shit like that, but no, I mean, it's I'm trying to.
I mean, but you believe it. So it wouldn't be a terrible thing to say.
Yes, it would, because then the people would be. I would get the culture vulture comments. That'd be bad. That'd be bad. There's a reason why you brought that up as a negative.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to wait a minute, because I'm trying to figure out. Wait, are you in fact culture vulturing?
I would say no. I would say no in that I'm not. I try to make the best wrestling comic book that I made. I try to make a good wrestling comic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say no. That would be my response. But I've never portrayed myself as a big wrestling fan. Like, people are like, "Are you a fan of wrestling?" I'll be like, "Yes," which I guess is a little bit disingenuous. But I do like the idea of like. Here's what I like about wrestling. I went to the Super Bowl this in February. You might just lost. Traumatized. Truthfully, a traumatizing event.
Was it a close game? Even?
Dog.
I don't know.
Dog. They were up with 10 points in the last fucking quarter, and they the refs, it was the refs. The field was fucked up. There's all these excuses you can make, and it's sad because you're like, the most interesting thing didn't happen. Like, if you're gonna lose, it'd be nice to have gotten without a benefit of the doubt, right? And that's what sucks. It's like we weren't beat by the better team. We don't know who the better team, from my perspective, we don't know who the better team is because the field was fucked up. So the field was slick, so you could see it. Like, one dude was running to celebrate and he like slips, like he has to catch his footing because there's no grass in fucking Arizona. I don't know why they like.
But the other team were playing on the same field.
They were playing on the same field, but Philly had literally the most productive pass rush, like the defense as far as sacks, literally in the NFL. Like, they had a record number of sacks. I mean, granted, there's an extra game, but essentially by removing that, you are neutralizing like you're neutralizing like one of the second best thing that they did. And I'm not making excuses, but I'm saying it's dissatisfying, right? But with wrestling, the most interesting thing happens because it's narrative based. So if you're able to buy into it, you're fully immersed in this thing.
It's men's soap operas.
It's a man soap opera, but there's physical stuff to it,
right?
And like I said, like,
that's the man part.
That's the man. So basketball. I'll do another example. Basketball. The Lakers and the Celtics are a huge rivalry. I think they played themselves they played in the finals. I think like 10 times or something. I'm probably making that shit up, but I mean, it sounds good. No, more than that. Actually,
sounds good.
They were a rivalry in the 70s. They were a rivalry in the 80s. They were a rivalry in the early 2000s. Yeah. So, KG and Kobe, Magic and Bird, like the Celtics and Wilt and Jerry West. So it's the finals. It's the conference finals, and it's the Celtics versus the Heat, and it's the Lakers versus the Nuggets. And if it was wrestling, the finale would have been Lakers Celtics. But because it's a real sport, it's the Heat Nuggets, and nobody really gave a fuck. Like, you gave a fuck if you were a Heat or Nuggets fan, but there was like no no narrative juice. And I think that's what I appreciate about wrestling is there's always narrative juice, I guess. If I had to say a thing that I truthfully appreciate about the sport.
Okay, there you go. That's a nice little.
That's what I come up with.
That's a nice cleanup. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm good at spinning narratives, bro.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's nice. Good. There should always be something, I guess, right? Like,
that's what makes it interesting is narratives. It's like, that's what I mean. The first sport, probably boring as fuck. Like the first season or something, that shit probably trash.
Yeah,
there's no precedence.
That sucks. Yeah, because if I was doing what it is you're doing, like if I was making comic books, I would probably want to make a ton of different shit too.
Yeah,
and so that would suck if people were like, "You can't do that." Because
they probably could, but I'm not listening to nobody, bro.
Like, I'd make one about a geisha. I just saw that on TV the other day. Yeah, like geishas live very interesting lives. Yeah,
we should make that comic.
I would definitely. Yeah.
Would you want to co-write that comic with me?
How does it? I mean, yeah, man. Clearly, you know who I am in the comic book world, which is no fucking body. So, like, you know what you're getting into.
Lucky for you, I'm somebody.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means. Like, I'll do what you asked me to do.
Let's say theoretically, you would come up with like the premise, and you come up with the story, and then I would like come in and like punch it up and add my writer flair, and then I would let's say theoretically we would go half one. I would find a good artist, we would go half one, and then I'd release it through Kickstarter. That's basically what I did with Tap or Die. Because you know that you have the knowledge, and then I have like, I guess there's no way to put it, the skills or the experience, and then we just put it together. It could be as simple as that. Like I told you, the Tap or Die guy, he can, like, from my perspective, what he said was it's a wrestler. There's a chick, and then the commissioner hates him. Like that's all I took from that.
Wow.
And I made and the series doing good.
Okay.
Theoretically, I think anybody can tell stories.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, the fuck they can.
I think you can.
No way.
Yeah.
I think people inherently, it's sort of like if you ever start to learn a new language, you'll understand for most people, it seems to be this way. You start to interpret the words way quicker than you can speak it fluidly yourself.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing. Like you can understand it.
Yeah.
But like,
I think if somebody were to, let me say this, if somebody were to apply themselves to learning to write, I think anybody could. I think writing is,
I mean, it's just, yeah.
Storytelling is like an inherent to, but like
people hated English class though back in the day. Like every time I talk to someone about what their favorite classes were, it's very rarely English composition and.
But you know the thing is now though in the social media era, like writers are like cool now. Like writers are like free. Like it's seen as a desirable job.
Yeah, I see that.
Where before Netflix, before like I mean TV has been a thing for a while, but so it's like yeah, I do want to write. Who wouldn't want to write for a TV show? You know what I'm saying? Like,
do nerds really exist anymore? Is that a real thing?
Yes. Define nerd.
I mean,
that's an Earl question. Define nerd for me.
Does like the negative connotation with nerd still exist is what I mean. Have we not understood? I feel like the new definition of nerd is one that is in love with something.
And by that definition, I think you're right. That said, I've gotten to a con and you meet awkward. I'm gonna tell a story because I think this might be the only place I can tell a story. No, I think I talked about this. The first con I went to, the first person I talked to, there was a scene. Is a show called Neon. Is a movie called Evangelion, which is like an anime adaptation. And I have to describe this, by the way. In the adaptation, the girl she's in a coma, and the guy I don't know, it was ambiguous, but the guy jerks off in the hotel room. I don't know too many more details than that. So the guy has an Evangelion shirt on, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm trying to be you like Evangelion? He was like, yeah, I like that hospital scene. And I'm like, oh, do you mean from End of Evangelion? He was like, man, I don't know, but I like the hospital scene though. That's the first person I talked to at a con. That's the first conversation I had at a con, bro. I was like, they gotta throw this motherfucker out, dog.
Yeah, I think that when you're in the creative space, you have to take
That's
in
some sick
all
shit,
the good and the bad. Yeah, you just have to accept weirdness coming in.
I agree. But I still think that nerdom is a way for somebody to burrow into something without having to necessarily be social. And you can be a nerd. But I used to be a fantasy football nerd, and I used to be in fucking 8 leagues.
I know, it's just
I was running from something.
When you say writers are cool now, what isn't cool now? What everything that was IT guys, they're cool now. Why? Because they make $1 million fucking dollars a day. So I bet you they're really fucking cool to people.
That what we do?
Oh. Well, I mean, not all IT guys, because it depends on the level of information technology you're working with.
Facts.
But yeah, nothing chess masters. Chess is fucking awesome.
That's cool.
Everything is cool now. I think that the internet allowed us to see that everything is actually fucking cool.
Yeah, I agree with you that there's no profession that is looked down upon, really. And I think in that, yeah, for instance, cooking videos, it allows you to empathize and see the beauty in a profession. But I guess what I mean is that teaching isn't cool. You know what I'm saying? Teaching, it doesn't pay. I mean, it's unfortunate. It doesn't pay a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold on. You don't think teaching's cool?
I don't think teaching is
on
cool.
Any level.
I don't think teaching is cool I don't think it's a desirable profession. I think people, for instance, I think people do it because they enjoy it, but I don't think you go to become you don't teach if you don't have an interest in teaching, right?
There's a shortage on teachers,
because they don't get paid. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. It's really unfortunate.
There's a shortage everywhere you go, but teachers, that's a rough one. That's why they're hiring all sorts of people. Do you know this now? Are you tapped in?
I'm not tapped in.
Yeah, I don't want to do it disservice, but I'm pretty certain you don't have to be wildly certified to be a teacher. I think that they're picking people up off the streets.
But bro, I guess that's what I mean is that when we was in elementary school, because we was neighbors, who cared about writing? Like, because it was just novelist, right? That's what the fuck that was on. Now, if you look at what a writer is, because the internet, you can be a sports writer, you can do like drama writing, you could like literally like TMZ, I guess, like that. It's just open. Like that, people need content. It's almost like content creation, and content creation is probably the hottest. It's probably the hottest thing because you can make whatever you want. And you can make your own schedule, whatever. Like even when I'm sitting, because I just got a nice, a Kickstarter hit, so I got like a nice office chair. I'm sitting in the bitch. I'm like, I could sit in this bitch all day and just work. Like it just feels cool. Like I get like a nice comfy hoodie on, get some nice sweatpants. I'm just chilling. Like it just feels good. Like, damn, I could do this. Like this could be my job. It just feels nice. So I think it's like that's content creation. But ultimately, your premise
got a hoodie on, sweatpants. I know you had the vibe going. Yeah,
turn on the fan so I don't fucking get heat exhaustion. Yeah. But just the nicest socks, the fuzzy socks. But I agree with you in that. Yeah, everything is cool in that sense. But I guess I just mean that some things, like you said, IT, some things have gotten cooler faster. So
yeah, I guess so.
But I like, so Tom Ford is the suit designer, and he made one of my favorite movies. It was called Nocturnal Animals. So it's like this guy that like is a designer, and I mean, granted, there's probably some overlap in being like a designer. Like have to know how to manage people, probably. You understand aesthetics and stuff, but I mean, there's not too much overlap, and this dude makes one of the best movies I've ever seen. And it's just like that's what made me realize, like, or maybe it's just talent. Maybe it's just talented people.
Yeah,
you could argue.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just talented.
You can argue that it's talent. Like you could do anything at a base level, and if you apply yourself, you get. Like some people just aren't talented, and it's like I'm not even trying to be mean when I say that. Some of y'all ain't talented, bro. Some of y'all meant to be, somebody needs to work for us.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, there do have to be just like work. Like, every job has to get done.
Everybody, we all need cashiers.
Every job has to get done. And that's a fact, and that's life.
Maybe you're not supposed to be a rapper. Maybe you're supposed to be a line cook, even though that's probably there's probably a direct pipeline and from rapper to working in the kitchen.
And line cook, yeah, man. I mean, you probably, you perform at a lot of local restaurants. You know what I mean? You start to, the guys,
And I guess there's like an intersection of like where does talent start and hard work begin, I guess, because I think ultimately you need the hard work to, like, I don't know why this is the metaphor, but I love cooking metaphors. Like you got to give the yeast like salt so it wakes up and it grows, and it like you have to have something, you have to like facilitate the talent, so you have to have the hard work. But yeah. I don't know, like I remember I've been in love with storytelling since I was like 6, 7, or 8, like around that age. So it's been something I've had a passion for like 22 years, like the majority of my life.
I think that it may work like this. Like you have an innate talent, but there's levels to it, and the hard work allows you, and hard work looks very different in every different thing, but hard work allows you, like gene expression, if you've ever heard of this, to express certain genes that are laying dormant within you. And so then you can access a newfound capability for those genes. So you can start off with like a base talent. Like you're pretty talented at this thing, but if you work harder at it, you're going to unlock more levels of that talent. So you're creating skill and experience, but you're also unlocking more of the talent within you.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I guess I found a path. I don't know what I would do with myself. Like if I didn't have writing, I'd probably be depressed right now. I mean, that was just a major driving force.
I feel like I agree with you.
You agree with me?
But yeah, because I don't know what other means of therapy you have. It could now be the new lady, right? There may be some conversations there that are alleviating. But it seems like
alleviating the other way. You know what I'm saying?
I'm certain of it. That's also a big part of it. You know what I mean? It's a big part of a relationship. It's huge. Some might say the most important thing.
Yo, whoever says the most important thing is wilding the fuck out, bro. That's crazy.
That's a fact, yeah. Because you're going to grow out of that. You're not fucking when you're 80, 90.
I hope so. I just thought about that, like, because I would have friends with benefits, but it's like, you got to talk to them at some point. You gotta communicate.
I know people that just hang out with those people and they fucking hate talking to them, but they're like, man, like I need to fucking have sex with you, so like I'll sit here for the next 3 hours.
3 hours, fuck no.
Yeah, some people go on wild dates, like they just sit with that person for a long time and they're just like, I'm so uninterested in everything they're talking about, but like I'm trying to get laid and like they're here, so I don't want to continue to do more work to find someone else. Like they're here, I'll just put up with it. I'm like, fuck.
I suddenly feel less pathetic.
Yeah, man, you could be doing that, and that's not cool.
Hell no.
We all have different lessons to learn in different parts of our lives. You know what I mean? That's where they're at on their journey. I'm grateful that I have like an outlet, because if I stop, like in between Decay, when I did Intrusive Thoughts, I was depressed. Like I was actually depressed in April of this year. Like I had a campaign, and literally, I'm not trying to give away everything, but basically the girl I was talking to, like I said, one of my, like, basically best friend, she expressed an interest in me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm overjoyed. Like I'm so happy. Like this is great. And then like the next month, my Kickstarter didn't hit. And I felt I hit a wall. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I was getting backlash from the thing that was going on, because this was right around the time I was going through this shit with these guys, with these dickheads. And I felt like, damn, like I'm into a corner. People aren't fucking with my shit anymore. And it was dark, man. Like I was glad in a sense that I was still depressed, even though somebody liked me, you know, like I had a mutual interest, because like I don't want somebody else's mental health to be I don't want my mental health to be somebody else's responsibility, essentially. So that was nice, but I just felt fucked up, bro. Like I was like, damn. And that's when I made Tap or Die. That's when I made the decision. Like, okay, I'm gonna bump up Tap or Die. And it was a moment where, and I've had these a bunch. It's like, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to adapt? You know, and I would consider myself super adaptable, you know, as evidenced by all the genres I've done and all that stuff. But it's like some people just aren't ready to adapt, and it's like I can't feel bad if you're not adaptable. I can't feel bad for you. Like I think it's you know. Oh, so you don't feel bad for people to get phased out of Darwinism, like the natural selection? Like if you just can't adapt and you can't survive, you don't feel bad for those people that fall.
Fuck them. No, I'm joking.
No, I know you're being facetious.
I'm being facetious, but like, okay, if we're talking about real life, like, yes, I feel bad. If you get like,
if you're a comic book writer,
go suck a dick, yeah, basically, because like it's so easy to get better.
No, I know.
It's so easy to get better. Like just try doing new stuff, and that's the problem with these people that are like, I'm going to make the next Star Wars, because if you think you have the next Star Wars, you're going to double down. You think
it's easy to get better though? Dude, I think that's because you're in your mind. I think I don't know, man.
I am built different.
I don't know. I was asking an artist on here the other day, like, she was talking about how she was studying. Like, she's a performer, she sings, and she was saying she was studying, and I was like, what does studying look like for you? And I love to ask creators that, because it's a challenging question for a lot of people.
I'm like, that's why I can tell you immediately what I do.
Yeah, see, it's
Twitter beef. That's a fight with one of my close childhood friends.
That's what studying looks like?
Yeah.
That's where absorbing. No. That's where you go for your inspiration. I mean, you very well could, though. That's a funny thing too. Is now, I'm not saying that you do this.
Yeah.
But those platforms and those hate spaces and all those arguments could invoke inspiration.
That's what Tap or Die was. Tap or Die came from that place. But I think it's hard to get better, because I'm trying to get better rapidly, because I'm trying to, I feel like I started late at 26, 27, which is crazy. But anybody who says like age is just a number is fucking lying, bro. Like if I was 40 years old at this con today, I'm not getting as many sales.
No, it's not,
like hang it up.
It's not looking as good.
Hang it the fuck up, bro. Where are your grandchildren?
Damn, that sucks. Damn, that's rough. Boy, you probably
I'm like a cute young kid still that like, oh, I keep it up, buddy. But if it's like if you're 50, it's like, hey, you should be wrapping up about now. You should have some wine.
At this point, you just assume like, man, this is really cool. This guy must really love this shit because he's 50. Because he's 50 doing this,
and that's a way to look at it. And I'm not saying that it's valid. Like I think you should start whenever. Yeah. But I think like it is true. It's about perception. Like we have to account for like the lowest common denominator, right? Yeah. And so I do think being. And my clock is ticking. I just turned 30. Like I'm going to be I'm not a kid anymore. I'm still a young man, but the clock is ticking. So I have to accelerate. You're more impressive the younger. Like I think I hit my stride like 2021, right? Like I buy a house, I make a comic book. I'm on top of the fucking world. I thought I was P. Diddy, bro. I was drinking champagne. Like,
sparkling wine.
Sparkling wine. Sure. Oh wow. Look who's flexing now.
It was sparkling wine.
Look who's flexing. It's not from France.
It was Lamarca. Exactly.
But I thought I was on top of the world, and then like you slowly realize like, oh no, like I have a lot now. It's like I'm 30, which it doesn't really mean anything, but like, okay, now I have to accelerate things. Now I'm not impressive for somebody in their 20s. Now I have to be impressive for somebody in their 30s. And I feel like it's diminishing returns essentially. You know what I'm saying? So I say it to say I'm trying to get rapidly fast, doing.
You're not as impressive the older that you get.
Yes, relative, but like you think about it, I've started 4 new series within 2 years of releasing my first series. Well, not even started. I published 4 new series. Like it started. Jesus, I don't know, like 10 or some shit. But that's it. That's a lot, bro. Like people look at me like I'm crazy because I'll do 6 Kickstarters in a year. Like that's insane. Like that's wild shit. So I'm trying to get better rapidly, but if I were trying to just get better, bro, it could be as simple as reading a comic book. It could be as simple as like writing a script, like as far as getting better. But I'm trying to get way better. Like I'm not trying to do this shit in my 40s, bro. I have to pay for a con table. Fuck that shit, bro. I want somebody to pay for my table.
Oh, you have to pay to set up in there, like have a booth space.
Give me a guest spot.
Yeah. Well, as far as you like being depressed if you didn't do this again, everything you're talking about, all these themes, all these ideas that come from your life being injected into these stories, that is the therapy. That is, I mean,
I don't know if that's good though.
I mean, why not?
I think I should probably go to actual therapy.
I mean, hey, yeah, sure. Listen, there's more than one ways to do this. So, like, you know, and I'm certain it wouldn't hurt. It probably wouldn't hurt. But I do think that the comic books are another cool way of doing it because you're exploring it in a fantastical way.
There's a catharsis for sure. I feel way better having Drop, Tap, or Die. And I think what's going to be interesting now, everything is kind of like an angle. Like my newest comic book, I Wish the Gods Were Dead. It's about like my little sister. She moved 2 states away, so it's like, you know, I worry about her, but ultimately you have to let people live their own life. So it's almost like that. It's just finding something to get invested in, and I just don't know why people don't do that. But maybe that's a talent. Maybe finding a way to interject something of yourself to make an idea more appealing. Maybe that's a talent as well. Yeah,
I do think that there's something to that.
Because everybody can't do it.
I definitely do think that there's something to that.
Yeah, so I probably will go to a therapist at some point. Like I need to anyway, but like right now I'm just focusing and like, hey, you know, maybe I can get a lot of good news in like 4 months, you know, like we'll see what happens. Like I'm taking It's Fun to Kill People to a
like it's such a fucking walk because every time it's said you're just like, oh yeah, right, like you just,
what,
oh yeah, like someone named something that,
it's a good title, don't you think?
And a cartoon at that.
People don't even, like, the viewers aren't gonna, I mean, I guess nobody's gonna know, only you know, but I'm gonna go talk to an editor at the company I want to pitch at, so that, hey, maybe the trajectory goes up.
You got your pitch, you got your minute pitch, I got your elevator pitch.
Dude, I have like,
don't be like homeboy.
What's faster than an elevator pitch? What's the little thing that goes side by side?
Yeah, you talking about
what's the thing that goes up and
escalator?
Down? No, but it's like a dumbwaiter pitch. I feel like that's faster.
Okay. You feel like you got one of those in you?
I do have one of those. Mom's a serial killer. The boy adapts. words.
The mom's a serial killer. The boy adapts.
Bro, that might have literally been 8 words.
Okay.
I'm nice with it.
All right.
No, that's always not an elevator pitch. But no, I mean, yes, you can't. I mean, the thing is, though, also, like, I was talking to he's a colorist from Marvel, and he actually, like, made my fucking day. I was talking to him because I know him, but we're not, like, close friends. But, like, I know him. You know, if I see him, I say hi. It's this dude, Jason Keaton. This motherfucker is built to, like, he was walking to his guest spot. I was talking to somebody at his guest spot, and something at the corner of my eye. I, like, jumped. I said, what the? Oh, it's just Jason. I want to be like that. I want to be, like, talented and buff. But
yeah, big Jack dude at Comic-Con.
Big Jack, motherfucking breaking the pencils.
Why is he breaking pencils?
Because he's so fucking strong. He just grasps it and the shit just snaps in half. But he was saying that like, oh, he was like, I was pitching it. He was like, stop right there. This art, I care more about this art. Like, if this art was some bullshit, then he didn't say that, but he's like, if this art wasn't interesting, I don't know if he would have stopped me. Like, I don't know if he would have stopped me, but that's what he was saying. So I'm hoping the art will do I want. And he also, because he had Decay, so he's like, the art has gotten better. I think that's one thing that I can rest my head on, is that my art has gotten significantly better since I first started. It's like undeniable. So like to me, it's like you have all these narratives about Stokes. You can say what the fuck you want, but like I want to be undeniable. Like I want to be able to shut them the fuck up.
Well, I think that's kind of the best. It's just the best thing to do is just succeed. Like just succeed. Just do what you love to do. I was talking to my dad, and you know we had just left an art exhibit he made for my grandfather.
Oh hell yeah!
And in Old Town at the Candy Factory.
I think he told me about that.
Whatever it's called now. The Art Factory is what it's called now.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful event. He showed me. I mean, I went through there. I saw the art. It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
And we went out to eat afterwards, and we were talking about me doing this podcast. And just doing it.
This podcast specifically with me? Or
well, no, just the podcast in general.
Oh, okay.
And he was saying, you know, there are so many times in life where people find themselves in a space where, as you were speaking about earlier, they can't do what they love. They don't have the free time to do it. They don't have the resources to do it. They don't have whatever. He's like, so if you ever have the resources, the time, like the desire to do some shit, he was like, you should really do it. Like you should just, because people don't realize how often it gets taken out of their life because it happens so rapidly. Like you just say like yes to one thing, and like now you're working a job a little bit more than you used to work, and then like you meet someone, and then you fucking around, and now they're pregnant, and you're like whoa, and then think the ball's just rolling, and before you know it, you just don't have that space anymore.
And now you're a Stokes hater,
like you used to have.
Now you might
Stokes. Now you might be doing that.
No, it's so funny is that the main guy, my boy, told me that like he had kids and he had to stop making comic books, and like that's what he thinks held him back, not his lack of writing. I didn't mean to derail your point.
Yeah,
but.
no, I mean that is the point. It's just do it. Just do it. Be undeniable. Again, just do the thing you love doing. If you really, really love doing it, then I think it's easy to get better. If you really, really love it, you love being a student of it, you love trying to look at it from every angle possible, you're constantly curious about it, then I don't see how it's that hard. But if you don't have those things going, then it could be difficult. If you're trying to force your like on it, you know, like if it's not really there, but you just want to do it for some reason, the intention has to be pure.
I get really frustrated with people sometimes when it's like lip service, because this will happen, bro. And I think, I'm not to call them out, but I think even maybe Carlos did this, but where it's like, oh, like let me shout out to Carlos, but like let's say I wrote a tweet and I was like, I'm about to write 10 pages a day. Somebody was like, nah, 15 pages. Do I strike? I was like, bro, like you don't even know what if it was a 10-page script, dumbass?
That's so fun. Are these like challenges? Do you do like writing challenges?
No. It's just like I need to get writing done, and like 10 pages sounds good, and I did 20 pages. But I guess my point is that that's aesthetic. That's aesthetic doing, right? Like you have no interest in helping me with these pages. You know what I'm saying? Like you may or may not read it when it's done, but it's just like the aesthetic of like it's like yeah, get it. Like I'm gonna push you. I shouldn't ever give the impression that I need motivation. That should never. That I've failed.
15
pages. I almost said it. Almost, 15 pages. It's like, bro, why don't you worry about you, dog? And that's what it's like. It's like you know what the problem is I'm too practical. Like y'all aren't practical. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have these lofty goals, you're not gonna. If I said 100 pages, guess what? I'm not gonna write. There's nobody in the world that can write 100 fucking pages of a that's in one. And maybe I shouldn't say.
People forgot what writing pages is like. They forgot what that shit was like when you had to write 7-page, 10-page report. Like that shit was not. It was not easy.
That shit was not cool.
Like if you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
The thing I learned in boarding school is but that's just an example of like I'm practical. Like I don't need motivation. That's the thing of like me being like I won't be a dick, but you kind of annoyed the shot at me because you're implying that this simple like I was gonna be at the crib like I'm so motivated. like what the fuck?
I see you. Okay, this is what we need.
All right.
You know what? This is easy. We just need to outsource your Twitter.
What do you mean?
We need to get someone working for you at some point in time that can take care of that space.
No.
And all you have to do, that's what we need. We need to get you distance. We need to get you separated from that so you can just focus on the craft as you have this person curate. I mean, they're going to talk to you. They're going to let you know like what's going on. It's not like they're going to take access. Wait a minute. Why don't you?
Because I do need, there's a balance because that shit that happened where the dude was saying where I implied that I think there was a racial bias. This dude said, "Oh, he called us racist or whatever," and tweeted it to X amount of people, and like called me a bitch, bro. And like haters are coming out the woodwork, like yeah. And then the person I talked to, where I said like, you know, you're getting you're an artist and you do it for fun, but ultimately it's based on your free time in a capitalist society. And he's like, yeah, he said I was just a cog in machine. Like I didn't say that was a good thing, but I'm stating a fact. I'm stating a result of like capitalism, whatever. But they came out the motherfuckers crawling out the woodwork to like this shit. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? That's too much. But just a little bit. You know when they hit the Nas in Fast and Furious. Yeah. That's what I need. I need a little bit of. I need a little bit to just get like. I
know. All I'm saying, we need some regulation because you're not getting a little bit.
I'm getting a little bit right now. I'm getting a little bit because somebody telling me like there's between somebody accusing like somebody like race baiting versus like nah, you can write those extra 5 pages. I believe in you. Like that's two completely different things.
You're right, for sure.
So it's like getting that good bad motivation for a little bit and using that to like because the dude that told me that, bro, it's like you need so much help. Like you need so much. You worry about yourself, buddy.
That's what everybody needs to do. I mean, unless you want to look at someone else and you want to, as we do as creators, like absorb some information.
That's different, though.
You know, that's what I'm saying. So that's caring about someone in a different way. Like, what's this person got going on? What are they talking about? What sort of things are working for them? Like,
you ask me, you don't tell me what I need to do. Like, you worry about yourself in that sense. But like, that's good. That's okay. I can deal with that. I'm in a much better place now, where I'm getting into Twitter debates. But it's like nothing that's really strenuous, like nothing too crazy. I was talking to somebody and like I think I just care more about debating and arguments than people do in general. But I feel like if you're a grown ass person and you can't string together a coherent argument, I feel bad for you.
So you like the sport.
Yeah.
Like you definitely like the sport.
I love a good debate.
Yeah.
Like I just love I think the thing I don't like devil's advocates, right? I want you to truthfully believe what you're arguing, right? Because sometimes like devil's advocates I just think are stupid. Like it's so condescending. It's like, have you considered this the most obvious resistance to your point. Have you thought about this? Is like, yes, I'm not a fucking child.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't. Again, I don't take the opposite perspective. It's just like, I mean, you're right. It could look like this, which I guess is devil's advocate. Sometimes it's just offering a perspective. If it is super basic, then I mean, I guess it's just basic. But if it's nuanced and the person didn't think of it, and they're like, oh shit, I guess I didn't think about it. But
that's genuine. Okay, so that's genuinely trying to help the person. But I feel like devil's advocacy is a lot of times it's just being like, you feel strongly about something, and I don't think anybody should feel strongly about something. It feels like a lot. Like that's what it feels like, as opposed to, okay, you might have some points, but X, you might have some points, but Z or what have you. So I don't like devil's advocates really, but fuck them. I'm doing really good. Like I said, shit could pop off. I mean, shit could get way better in a couple weeks. Like I said, I'm in a thing with somebody, which is nice. Things are.
I'm glad that things are leveling up, and I'm glad you're enjoying the level up.
I'm loving it, man, because I'm gonna be undeniable real fucking soon. Hopefully, real fucking soon.
That's the best way to do it. Just work on you, on that craft. And just keep working. Keep fucking just watering that bamboo seed. That's what it is.
The victory lap, if I get signed to a company, if I get anything good happen to me, oh my fucking God. I'll talk to my boy. My boy talk, he's like, I'm going to be insufferable. Don't let me get signed to Image or some shit. Don't let me get a Marvel or DC gig. Oh my God. I'm adding people. The first thing I'm doing.
That's hilarious.
Hey, pussy.
All right, don't fuck around and lose that. See, that's the thing. See, oh my God, that would be the see. Listen, you actually are the person that wrote the story Decay. You saw how that story ended. Just leave it alone. You're
That's the
good.
irony, right?
If you make it out, just leave it alone.
It's funny because I'm turned away and my eyes are closed, but I hear you in my headset. I can't escape your words.
Don't come back to try to finish the job, man. Just
step on their fucking neck. Like,
just be gone.
Just curse stop their ass. No, you're right. Gone. Obviously, I wouldn't be like, hey, I got a Marvel job, bitch. But I would find some way to I would be like, yeah, they said I couldn't write. How stupid is that? Just
go succeed and be happy and go fucking.
I'm not happy. I want them to be miserable more than I want me to be happy.
For you to be happy. That's the most miserable thing I've ever heard in my life.
They're miserable. I'm happy.
I want them to be more miserable than I am happy.
And in the course of them being miserable, I will become happy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, like I said, that's the most miserable thing. Because that sounds like misery loves company.
No. Happiness loves laughing at misery. would be the example. I'm kidding. I like being happy, but I also like I said, when that dude was like, you really hurt his feelings.
No, you like the petty.
Good.
You like the petty.
I do like the petty. I pick my spots, like I said, because I'm trying to be less confrontational. Because I have ruined some, I don't want to ruin friendships and relationships with family. I had a rocky relationship with my family for years, and now we're happy. That feels good. Could I be petty sometimes? Yeah. Could I don't mean I guess people say that. Can I be petty? Yes, as in I'm petty sometimes. I mean that there are opportunities for me to be petty. For instance, real quick, I'm at, this is 2021 Anthony. This is Puff Daddy Anthony, right? Riding high, just made his comic book, whatever. And my aunt's boyfriend, I'm like, yeah, I got shades. I'm thinking about buying a Tesla, you know what I'm saying? Trading the car, whatever. And I'm like, I got a 2010 Sonata, right? So I'm like, you know what? The Kelly Blue Book value is $2,000. I just don't, I said, I'd rather give that away to a family that needs it, because that would provide more value than me than $2,000. And, I was being genuine when I said that. So I'm not a selfish guy.
Yeah.
So my aunt's boyfriend was like, well, you never know. You got to take it and see, because you have no idea what you might get. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know how I don't remember this. I think I was really tired that weekend. But somebody was like, yeah, he told you. And I was like, so the older gentleman is giving me advice. If I say, nah, I'm arrogant. If I hear the motherfucker out, he told me.
Nah, sunning is a terrible, terrible corrosive element within certain people's
He didn't sun me though. He wasn't even trying to. Yeah.
I know, but just people thinking that someone is sunning you because they come to your aid and give you advice because they've been in a similar spot that you've been in, or they have insight into it. Like, it's just, that sucks for people to be like, oh no, like he's sunning you. Like, like, what are you talking about?
Well, exactly.
Like,
I heard the motherfucker out. I can't win, Earl. I literally cannot win. If I'm like, yo, kiss my ass, old man, like I'm being arrogant.
Well, yeah, that's definitely that one.
But I wouldn't. Why would I do that? He's giving me advice. But that's just what I mean. And I could have snapped off or whatever. But I said, you know what? It's cool, man. It's fine. Like I have grown up in that sense, and I really don't. Like in my worst moments, I want to start some shit, but like more or less, I'm just trying to just chill, be, have better relationships with my friends, my family, and not be, save the toxic shit for Twitter, basically.
All right, save it for Twitter. Like,
yeah.
We will expend this toxicity.
Of course.
It'll just be on Twitter.
Gotta let the evil out a little bit.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that in person. It gets scary in person.
Motherfuckers be having me fucked up, bro. I'm telling you, motherfuckers be having me fucked up. But
no one has ever said anything like you've never gotten any threats.
From what? On Twitter?
Yeah.
I might have.
Oh, okay. All right, but nothing comes to mind. Just like, oh no, there was definitely a dude that said that he would meet me out somewhere.
It's like comic book nerds.
Yeah,
yeah. I've been the guy because somebody called me a bitch. The dude called me a bitch. I was like, I told him like, y'all wouldn't talk to me like this. Like, what would happen? It's like I would smack the shit out y'all. Like, y'all are nerds. Like,
yeah, we definitely don't need this energy.
We don't. But to me, it's like.
Especially in the comic book space, this is very interesting.
It's in it because to me it's like the way I feel like why would you call me a bitch? Like there was this confrontation. I don't know how plugged you are in the AMP. Like you know what AMP is. Mm-hmm. Like it's like content. It's a bunch of content creators that live in a house, and they're like brothers. There's like a brotherhood, and they get on each other's nerves. And basically, it's actually pretty funny. Real quick, it's like this dude that says he has a food tax. His name is Fam. So he has a food tax. So whatever you get some at the house. On stream, he'll go and like get a piece of your food or whatever, and it's really funny because like you'll be eating food and you'll see him in the corner like Michael Myers, like you'll see his silhouette, and he's like, "What's up?" One dude like scarfed down the food, and he was like, "Okay, don't even worry about it." 50% tax, right? So he's in Japan, and one of the guys from AMP agent like steals his like, he has a mukbang in his room. And that's like a rule in the house. Don't do anything while nobody's not there, right? So he goes and takes his fridge and then takes in his room. And then so he comes back and he takes the fridge back. And he's like, yeah, I mean, cool, that's whatever. He goes and takes the original dude's fridge as well. And he's like, come on now. Like, and then like he's like, nah, you're not about to take my shit. And they go back and forth and he's sitting there yelling, like he's freezing up, like, what the fuck, bro? You did this, you did that. And he's like, yo, let's fight. Like, I'm not trying to fight, though. It's like, okay, but your demeanor and your energy, like he kept touching him. He's like, don't touch me. Your demeanor is communicating that you want to fight to a lot of people. But your words are saying, so that's what it is. If you're going to use.
Sometimes they're scared. Like people are scared and they don't know like what they look like.
I think they're just, I think you, if you're in a situation, right, I think we've been in situations enough where people are letting you know, like, hey, I'm about to, like, something bad might happen to you. Like, we're going to fight or they don't even have to say it. But to me, there's cues. Like, if I'm pissed off or you're pissed off, raising your voice, if you raise your voice at me in my face, like, you're either going to stop talking to me like that, I'm going to walk away or we're going to fight. And not even that I'm a huge fighter, but to me, that, because when I'm yelling, I told you, I've yelled 4 or 5 times in my life where I've lost my shit yelling. I'm out of control. So if you're yelling at me, I'm thinking you're out of control like I am.
Right.
So I don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
Right, for sure.
That's how I feel. So but people were like, oh, I'm not trying to fight, but that's your demeanor. When you're calling me a bitch, your demeanor to me, or you're communicating to me that like you think I'm a bitch. Like I'm taking it very literally. And it's like, y'all are comic book. I'm not even like the toughest. I'm so far from the toughest, the toughest guy in the world. But like, I got bullied. I got bullied at like Osborne Mess and shit.
I think
those people, real quick, those people can kick my ass. You can't. You can't kick my ass.
So, I think in this new day and age, like there's certain things that come when we accept those terms and conditions to be on any platform. I think there's something that we're signing up for, which is, and this is an unwritten rule in those terms and conditions, which is this place is full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, so you're going to see people that have a bunch of filters on. They don't actually look like that in real life. I think we all understand that that's mostly a lot of what we look at when we look at photos of people online. Like, we just have to accept that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with people talking shit. People are just talking shit. Like, I don't think that it's a real literal attack and it's like, oh, he's a bit, like he's really a bitch, like a bitch type of, you know, cuckold type of energy type of guy. Like, you know, I don't think that that's what they're saying to you. You know, they're just like, bitch is like just a word. It's just an internet word people say.
It's an internet word, but I also think like, and I'm at odds because it's essentially like, who do I let win? Like, do I let you nerdy motherfuckers that don't like eye contact in person, do I let y'all win and just take this shit on the chin? Or do I let the people that were like bully me and beat me up and shit in Osborne or Mets or whatever and let y'all, like, let them win and it just become that aggressive kind of like this destructive guy.
Right.
And it's ultimately I should let the fucking nerds win because then, you know, that's the best case scenario because I'm just ignoring you at that point. But it is hard for me to reconcile that, like, y'all are bitches, like y'all are saw, like, bro, it was y'all it's hard, but ultimately you're right, but it is difficult for me to manage.
The way of the, you know, the monk is a difficult one.
I don't for sure. And like most of you motherfuckers, like the big dude, that one that called me bitch doesn't even go to cons. It's like, I wouldn't go to cons either if I was like so punchable. Like this guy,
right? Yeah,
this guy.
You don't want to talk shit about a bunch of people in a community and then go to their neighborhood.
Go to the neighborhood, bro. It was so funny because he went on a show. He went on a show to explain what happened, and then like the dudes were like, "Yeah, this is kind of it seems like kind of self-grandizing." They're reading the post, and he came on. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk to him too long because his voice is annoying, but we'll let him on." So they let him on, and he's talking. They're just ignoring him, like they're freezing him out of conversations. And it's like the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Like, so he's got his shit to work through. We all got shit to work through. What? That's
a wild way to like just land that plane. Just like, so he's got a lot of shit to work through. Hey, listen,
it makes sense. It makes sense that you're like this angry, pathetic person. If like I kind of want to do an impression of him, but he sounds like. It's like the most annoying voice. Like he was on my show and my co-host was like, "We got to end this shit, bro. I'm tired of hearing this motherfucker, bro." Like, just a real sad guy, you know?
Oh man, I just, you know, I have to, let me end with these things. One, congratulations on the lady.
Yeah, man.
You said a lot of nice things about her.
She's amazing.
So I hope that you guys flourish. Two, congratulations on everything that you've achieved since you were last here, since we last spoke.
Yeah.
And all the things that you have on the horizon.
Yeah.
I hope that these sugar-free Red Bulls and whatever else you got going on keep you, you know, here with us. We need you alive. So
I don't think my lifestyle is as destructive as you would make it. Seem.
Well, no sleep is a good start.
It's not no sleep.
Okay,
it's poor sleep.
Okay,
I'm not avoiding sleeping intentionally. It's just I get bad sleep.
Yeah. How would because I know you're using the sleep apnea thing. How many hours are you getting versus how many hours are just like sort of disrupted?
I don't know, bro. I think like, I don't know. It's hard to say, like, because even the mask is waking me up at this point. So it's hard to tell if it's a net negative or positive. Like one night I put the bitch on, I wake up, it's the day. Like, okay, perfect. I don't even remember waking up. And then sometimes it's like, I'm up again. So, and then there's all kinds of, like, I didn't do a sleep study to figure out like what kind of ratio of air I don't need. I just bought a CPAP machine. Right. So I could be using the bitch wrong. I don't even know. I could.
You just pressed on and just went to sleep.
Dog, like real quick. So I turned this shit on. Like they don't got no. It's like it's a stream of air. But I was like, I don't know what this bitch. This shit don't even feel like it's on. So I turned that bitch all the way up. Beep 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 beep. And it's like, and like the air still doesn't feel that strong. I turned it all the way up. I turned it like 20. Well, I don't know what the fuck 20 what, but I turned it on. And so you have to press it to your face. It forms a seal. Like it'll press like crazy air, and then it will like form a seal. I put that. So I put it against my mouth. It felt like I was standing behind a turbine. Like who has this? Who needs the 20 setting? Who the fuck? This for Superman, bro? Like what the fuck?
Well, there's some people with some real breathing issues.
Dog, I'm like, yeah, because they're sleeping on the fucking she's blowing like oxygen into their lungs at like 20 miles per hour. I don't know.
You know, or they've been fucking smoking cigarettes for 30 years.
Just getting the iron lung at that point.
You know what I mean? It's tough.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you for coming in here. Where we at? I think we're there. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming here, man.
What? Well, you are that nefarious laugh.
Well, I mean, I've known you for a very long time.
You're neighbors.
And yes. And for a very long time, there was clearly no communication whatsoever. So you were just like this character in the distance. Like I didn't really know what was going on with you. Yeah. You know, but now every single time we have a conversation, it comes out a little bit more and a little bit more of like what the fuck was really going on and where this attitude, where this character was forged from, you know? So I get it. I get what's going on.
What's the reception like on these episodes?
On yours?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's a good question. I'll definitely have to see for this one because they're all so different.
Yeah. I like the first one the best.
Right, that's so funny. Me, you, Keon. Yeah, I'll have to go back.
Got the most shit on. You really let me cook. You didn't know it was prepared, and then now you kind of like.
Oh well, yeah.
You freeze me out of certain subjects.
Oh yeah. No, have I freeze you out? No, I don't know.
Well, it's not so. Like, right now, I don't have a lot to get off. Right, like I'm pretty calm. Like I'm just I'm tired. You know, I'm fucking tired.
Well, it's good to just hear from you, like, as a person. We naturally, because of how much you fucking do this stuff, that conversation is going to come up. Like, what comic books you're working on, who you're talking to, how they're talking to you.
Like I'm a bitch.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff is naturally going to come up. But when you don't have something that you're necessarily trying to promote that time, it's easier to get into some of these other things that you're going on. Like, maybe the conversation about your lady doesn't come up. If we're simply just trying to get through promotional, it
would have came up. She's amazing.
No, nice.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm genuinely happy.
All right, man. Well, again, I'm very happy about everything going on with you. I am, you know what I mean? I really, really am. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the energy, regardless of what else is going on out there with you. I see layers to you. There are very many, many layers to you, and I appreciate them.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Peace.
Peace.